Producer, but I don't see her anywhere.
Kitty, you made it!
Oh wow, I made it to what?
To the best experience of your life. Come on inside. Come on.
I don't want to.
Come on, let's do it.
Not after last time.
Okay, but what if I told you were making perfume today?
Okay, I'm curious.
Come on, it's gonna smell so good. It's gonna be so pretty.
Yeah, okay.
I still smell a little bit like ketchup, but that's okay.
You deserved it.
Come on. Kitty, what makes me so sad is that the EWC is eventually going to end.
It's very sad indeed, but I am not sad about you going home.
But I do want something to bring home with me to kind of remember our time together and all the fun things that we got to do.
Oh yeah, we had so much fun.
I want to create a scent that truly captures esports. What do you think of when you smell esports?
Nothing really good, to be honest, like people sweating, being focused, keyboards that are not really clean. So yeah, that's what I think about.
And that's exactly the scent that I want to capture.
Why?
Esports.
Okay.
Esports.
I'm gonna start with the lavender one. Let's start with the base, okay?
Lavender, what is
Yeah.
that?
Are you kidding?
Is that an NPC?
It's not an NPC. It's like a flower.
But I think that for my base, I've actually been able to take a gaming headset used by players and distill down a lot of the dandruff and head lice into this concoction. This shall be my base. Woo! Take a whiff. I think some of the lice are still moving around in there.
I'm gonna put some vanilla in mine.
Some what?
Vanilla.
Isn't that for eating?
It's used for several things, you know?
Do you know where you get vanilla?
Yeah.
You actually get from a beaver's butt. When beavers fart, they have vanilla.
How do you come up with those things?
I just really love beavers. I've managed to capture KC fans' blood, sweat, and tears. This is the blue wall. in blue tier form.
Oh my god. You're gonna get beat up after this.
Not after they smell my perfume.
You already made a disaster with that, so I'm gonna continue my beautiful perfume with, I think, some cassis.
Chassis? Like a robot.
No, again, it's a fruit.
It's a fruit?
Yeah, you don't have that in America, it's fine.
I got Cheetos.
Yeah, I know.
But for my next part, I actually got the finger gloves of players, and we're just gonna go ahead and add a little bit of sweat.
Ew, that's atrocious.
Yeah, but it was from Team Spirit. It smells like victory.
It's not gonna bring victory into your life, trust me.
I found one of the jerseys from the team that's gone to 23 back-to-back tournaments. So what this smells like is pure failure, desperation, and yet some resolve.
Oh god, overly wide.
Is it in? You can really smell the failure.
I have it right in front of me.
I managed to take one of the keyboards off the stage, and what I did was I removed all of the dead skin cells and food junk and crust, and I put it into this liquid form. But here's the thing, it is very potent, so we can only do... Oh, I missed.
Oh god. Don't do it!
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're disgusting.
I managed to take all of the Cheeto dust out of the controllers that were on the stage and create this. This couch cushion from one of the practice rooms. I heard that the players did not leave this baby for 24 hours straight. And so we got this beautiful essence. This is gonna be a fantastic perfume. I feel like we just gotta mix it up a little bit.
Oh god.
Smells amazing. You have no idea how amazing this smells. It smells like resolve. It smells like perseverance. It smells like desperation. It smells like esports.
Don't put it near me.
Just a little bit.
No,
I promise. Can you just try? Just try. Oh!
Ooh. It's disgusting.
That'll come off. I promise. That'll.
Oh god, don't touch me! Don't touch me! You're me off! Every day I come with her, every day she's something up.
Le Esport. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the EWC Spotlight. I'm Aubley, and we are about to break down all of the fun things that we've just seen so far. And joining me today, I've got Glitter and CJ. CJ, did your mom write down your name twice on the birth certificate, or what happened?
It wasn't too creative from me. It was CJ. It had a lot of underscores and stuff back in the day, and I thought, you know what, let's just whack another CJ on the end, and we'll call it a day.
You didn't want to throw any combinations of numbers, or like the big X, little X?
I thought I'd be more, progress. I don't know. It's just, it wasn't. Back in the day, everyone had the underscores, the XXs and stuff, and I thought I'm better than that. I was probably 15 at the time, and I said I'm more mature than anyone else.
Right.
So I'll go CJ. Not too creative, but it stuck.
I love that. Where did Glitter Explosion come from? Or that's just how you entered into the world?
I wish. That would be creative. My dad helped me come up with mine.
Oh, that's so sweet. I actually love that for you. All right, well, we did get some excitement that we do need to talk about. STC Arena, we had some Rocket League, and oh boy, were there upsets.
Big day one of Rocket League. We had probably the biggest upset we've had in the esports history. The world champs NRG from North America lost to TSM, a team from APAC. APAC is not a Rocket League region notoriously. That's their biggest win in the region's history. World champs going down. They lost 3-1 as well, so it didn't even go game 5. The world champs, they're out of form, and that's going to hurt them.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Who else do we have from NA that's still in?
Oh, everyone's still in. It's only day one, so group stage, of course, but Shopify Rebellion just lost. That's another upset. The other teams are looking okay. Space Station Gaming, they're the young kids from North America. They're looking pretty good. It's been a little shaky from North America all around. Europe, for the most part, they've been pretty cruisy all the way through.
When you say young kids, I need to know what that means, though.
We're talking 16, 17 years old. We're talking young.
Fantastic. Just because I got my butt whooped by like a 9-year-old playing Rocket League one time. time. Never recovered.
Tracks.
Never recovered.
That's
but
tough.
let's move on over to the Qiddiya City grid for PUBG Mobile. We had some survival stage action. Who survived?
Great question, because 10 of them didn't. 10 keys were crushed. Only six made it through out of the 16 teams that played today. And it was a very close back and forth battle. Actually, in the final match, we had our 8th and 9th place teams finish 1st and 2nd to knock out Goat and Wolves from the top 6. It was a battle all day, back and forth. And honestly, one of the big things we were following was whether or not GK Esports and AGAL were going to make their way through. Both of them did not. So that was a little bit surprising on the AGAL side of things as well. And if we're talking about long-term storylines, what this means for PUBG Mobile, our 2024 champs, Alpha 7, gone. Our 2025 defending champs, Yangon Galacticos, also out. So we are getting a guaranteed new winner this year.
We love when we have new winners at EWC. But also to your point, AGAL, they got their points last week. They don't need to get more points this week, right? Right? It's not like we're tallying them all up at the end.
I don't think that's what they want to hear. I think they want to make sure they get those points on the board.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we did have another game over at the Alliance Vault stage. Probably the most physically taxing esport of all. We got some chess.
Yeah, and honestly, I went over there to watch a little bit. It was really cool. Not only was it packed, people were very excited to see, obviously, some of the big names on stage. If we're talking about chess, we're talking about GM Magnus, right?
The big dog.
Liquid.
Of course.
Big opportunity to get some points on the board for Liquid. They've been waiting for this, I feel like, all EWC long. But we're also looking at GM Ali Reza for Team Falcons, GM Hikaru for Falcons. I mean, there's some big names that are doing well so far for the big clubs as well.
But as I understand, Catastrophe hit the stage at some point.
Yes.
Ooh.
I'm actually glad that you brought this up, because a little bit of a surprise with a mouse clicking error out of GM Yan. And I feel like it's just because it's a little bit of a different literal physical situation than what they're used to. And can you imagine having a really close back and forth match and then losing it because you misclicked?
You can see the pressure that's on these guys. I mean, with the live crowd as well, with the multiple stages going on at once, and yeah, when you're behind that computer, some things can happen that you don't really want.
Do we count that as like the same thing as if you touch a chess piece, you have to move?
See, I was asking the same question. We're going to have to get an official to rule on this for us.
Like if you touch the donut, you must eat the donut. You can't just not.
Yeah, I think once he made that move, he realized that it was done. And I don't think he was really protesting. He just said, well, it is what it is.
It is what it is. But over on the Lenovo Legion Gauntlet stage, we did have some Rainbow Six Siege, and this was week 2. Finally, we get to see some more of this broadcast.
Yeah, we're getting towards the pointy end of the Rainbow Six. Obviously, Dark Zero Gaming coming in as the hot favorites. Now, that quarterfinal matchup, that was close. They lost the first map of the best of 3 against Weibo. Now, Weibo have made the top 8 of 4 consecutive S-tier tournaments, but they can't crack a top 4. They win map 1 against the favorites at EWC, thinking maybe this is a chance. Finally, a top 4. They lose the next 2 maps. Dark Zero, the favorites, they stay alive. That's the first map they've lost, though, at the tournament so far, so they're looking fantastic. But Weibo, you have to feel for them because they were looking great, they were performing well, and then to go out to the favorites and once again just not cracking into that top 4, it's a bit of a curse at this point.
Yeah, you know, I feel like if there's any place to be cursed, you don't want it to be at EWC, where everything kind of
It's not ideal,
No.
I'd say.
No, but I mean, Glitter, speaking of potentially cursed teams, as we transition into our club championship rankings, it's good news, though. It's good news because Team Liquid and R6, how are they doing?
Listen, they've at least made it to top 8, right?
They're
We've
alive.
been tracking how Team Liquid have been doing. Obviously, Magnus as well will probably get those points for the CC this time around. It's going to come down to whether or not they can take on FaZe, and they're going to need to do it because there's not a lot of other options for them this week when it comes to points.
Yeah, they've secured points getting top 8, but I mean, really, you need to begin winning, I guess, to really climb up the rankings there in the club champs.
And there's actually other big teams that we're focusing that are currently in the top side of the leaderboard that really matter for both of our stages, if I'm not mistaken, because we have Vitality, who are a big player when it comes to our PUBG Mobile Grand Finals. They could potentially take the whole thing home, and I think they're doing, or potentially going to do well in Rocket League, right?
I mean, they're looking good. You can lock it in. It's almost like with the chess with Liquid, with Magnus. They know they're going going to get points. With Rocket League Vitality, they know they're going to get at least a top 4. They could definitely win the tournament as well, but Falcons are looking fantastic. They were a little bit shaky online, but they picked up Drali, who's one of the best players in the world. He's moved to the MENA region, and once you get that guy on land, he's won 2 Esports World Cups in Rocket League, and the European side of things, he's looking to win his 3rd EWC, which would be absolutely insane with different rosters every single time. So Vitality and Falcons, it's looking good.
Love the repeats. All right, well, before I ask you two for your final thoughts for today, have you gotten a chance to walk around yet? A walk around FanFest? What have you seen?
I don't know how good you guys are at crane games, but there's a Vitality booth, and I have won that crane game every single time.
Oh, so it's rigged.
Or I'm just good.
I mean, as a reporter here, we've been lucky enough to really check out all the action. The Space Station Gaming booth, we've got watch parties and co-streams as well. From the Rocket League side of things, Fury, he's a Vitality creator. He's absolutely pumped with how well Vitality are doing. We've got chess, we've got Gotham Chess, Hannah as well. So we've just got co-streamers galore coming in. It's just so much fun. I love the fact that at this EWC, you've got the stages, but then the booths are right there as well. They're all connected. It feels like one big ecosystem. So FanFest is going crazy.
All right, man, I love that. And also, CJ, I love the fact that we got to have you on the couch today. Because, I mean, listen, I always have glitter.
You're stuck with me.
I'm stuck with you. I'm stuck with. But CJ, anything that you want to say?
Oh, it's just great to be. I'd love to be back.
Really?
Is that a chance? Yeah, I'm more than happy to come back and check out some more, well, I can give you guys the Rocket League insights. You can tell me what's going on. But week 6, so the club champs, the race is getting tighter, and this is where it really gets interesting.
Now that he said that, Glitter, he's not allowed to leave contractually.
I didn't mean it.
You actually sleep on this sofa now.
Oh,
sorry. You're going to cast the games from right here. But for everyone else, thank you all so much for tuning in to watch the EWC Spotlight, and we'll see you for the next one. CJ.
Chess returns to the Esports World Cup, and this time the road to the trophy starts before the group stage even begins. 16 players will battle for the title in Paris, where reigning champion Magnus Carlsen returns to defend his crown against the very best in the world. Every game is played with 10 minutes and no increments. Every second counts, and if a match ends level, an Armageddon decider will determine who moves on. But first, 8 players enter the play-ins. Every match is played over 2 games, and only 2 players will survive to complete the final field. They will join 14 players who have already qualified through the Speed Chess Championship and the Champions Chess Tour leaderboard, including defending champion Magnus Carlsen. Then comes the group stage. The 16 players will be split into 2 groups of 8, each competing in a double elimination bracket. Every match consists of 2 games, where every move can change the course of the tournament. Only the top 4 players from each group will reach the playoffs. From there is no second chance. The quarterfinals are played over 4 games per match. The semifinals raise the pressure with 6 games per match. And in the grand final, the 2 remaining players will fight for the title in a best of 3 sets showdown. Get ready for a chess spectacle in the City of Love, where speed, nerve, and absolute determination will decide who rises to the top.
All right, Damascus, it's Chess Week at EWC. We are stage hosting with the best of the best, all right? Now, I know you don't know chess all like that, but luckily, you got your friend, Hollywood Rob TV. I am 1,300 ELO on chess.com. You're making the right face, okay? Me, Magnus Carlsen, Hikaru, if you want to get up to that level, then you have to listen to this right here. Right. Now, to start things off, Damascus, lesson number 1. This is called the opening phase of the game, all right? Show me which move you will make here. You want to control the center. You want to control the center. White to move. White always move. Control the center.
Yeah, I want to maybe move the...
You want to move? I think you wanted to move off of your chair and give me 5 push-ups, brother. What was that? What's the control
the center. No sight.
Yeah.
Opening.
Control? Yeah. I don't know if that was 5 either, but I'm gonna let it rock. Okay, now.
Teach me more.
All right,
Rob.
That is important. Yeah. Okay. Bam, bam. White to move. It's called Fool's Mate. White to move. Come on. What you got, brother? Yeah, I believe in you. Yeah, you ready? It's Chess Week, baby.
Yeah, so I can attack.
So you can attack
the knight, yeah.
Yeah. I want you to go ahead and attack that floor again and give me 10 minutes of planks. Are you kidding me, brother? It's called Fool's Mate. We're gonna change the name to Damascus Mate.
What's a fool's mate, bro?
We're gonna change the name to Damascus mate, because clearly you the fool in this situation, huh? It's chess week. You gonna embarrass yourself in front of Magnus Carlsen, in front of all these people watching from home? Come on, don't you want to be like me and Magnus and Hikaru?
What's Magnus's rating anyway?
Magnus's rating is 100 push-ups. That's what it is. 100 push-ups asking me silly questions like that.
All right. Magnus Carlsen, Rock TV, 1300. Each test is day 3. I'll get there one day. Let's get it.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Esports World Cup in Paris, France. It's day 3 of chess. For some, they get the day off. For others, they've got to play for their tournament life. 8 keys are going to be crushed today. Our final 4 spots into the playoffs need to be earned. The question is, who's going to earn them? Well, it's up to the competitors to decide. Hey, welcome into the Allianz Vaults. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, Nemo, and Anna Cramling. Good to see the both of you. Good morning. It's going to be a great day, Nemo. It's day 3.
Good morning. Indeed, it is going to be an amazing day. This is, in fact, the loser's bracket, also known as the lower bracket. So if any of these players lose today, lose their match, it is GG. Their keys are getting crushed and they're going home.
Going home, man. And nobody wants to go home yet, Anna, because why? Well, there's a lot of money on the line and everybody's gunning for it. We're talking $1.5 million.
This is the day that I have been looking forward to. I love it when there's so much on the line, when the players know that if they make a mistake, they might have to just fly home.
Fly home, and they don't want to go home just yet because they want to play $250,000 for first place. Now, everybody's walking away with a little something, but they want a little bit more, right? And you got to make playoffs if you want to increase the amount of money that you're walking away with. Yesterday was day 2. We moved 4 players forward into the playoffs, and to break it all down for you and catch you up to speed is Mike and David.
Day 2 of chess at the Esports World Cup was crazy. Every single competitor who was still left in was in action, with giants like Magnus Carlsen finally entering the fray. Mike, it was a real roller coaster.
Good news is that we're going to see Magnus again later in the competition. Even better news for him, he gets the day off because he won both of his matches yesterday. He was so Magnus-like on the board, but off the board, he was coughing and he was looking a little bit fatigued. Your thoughts on him?
Yeah, he didn't look physically at his best, but of course, the champions, they saved the best for last. Magnus through now, but also the other favorites making their way smoothly to the next round.
That's right. 3 other players won both their matches yesterday. No huge surprises. Norbek Abdusattorov, only player to win all 4 of his games. We also had the fan favorite Hikaru Nakamura, and we had Alireza Firouzja, who survived 2 Armageddons, and he was incredibly aggressive in his bidding. Did you think he would bid that low?
He's a brave man, Alireza. He takes risks that nobody else dares to, but he wasn't the only one to take those risks and get paid off.
That's right. 6 minutes 40 was his low bid, but we also had a potential viral moment. We all remember when Magnus banged the table against Gukash. Well, it was actually a triple table slam with Jan Nepomniachtchi. Why did we see that?
Well, Jan Nepomniachtchi mouse-slipped, blundered, call it what you want, but against Hans Niemann, on the brink of a victory, he let it all go in just one move, hence the anger.
Right. I'm sure we're going to see that again a lot on social media. Now, every other player we did not name today has their tournament life on the line. No more losses are acceptable. Every single player you'll see today has to win out to keep playing more. That's the action. Let's look forward to day 3. Back to you guys in the studio.
Scrolling is cringe. Chess is fun. Get all the dopamine of looking at your screen and none of the guilt when you're improving your mind with chess. Want to improve at your own pace? Take a few seconds to complete a puzzle and learn something new. Don't be cringe. Play chess. There's something for everyone at chess.com. Learn, play, and have fun.
Thank you, Mike and David, for the recap. Yeah, Nemo, the emotions were sky high yesterday. The matches were incredibly tough. And for some tables, they got to look out because they got banged upon. It wasn't a nice sight, but you know what? It is the highest pressure, right? Being on the stage in front of the lights, in front of the audience, sometimes the pressure does get to you.
Absolutely. I mean, look, we're all competitive here. I feel like we understand that sometimes emotions can definitely run a little hot, especially when it's something so crazy. I don't know if it was a misclick or if he maybe just miscalculated, but it was very unfortunate for Jan. However, we're going to see him later play against Andrei Stepenko, so it's not over for him yet. He still has a shot. He does need to win 2 matches in order to move on.
That's right. Yeah, for those on the bottom, some have to win 2, some have to win 1. We'll catch you up to speed with the schedule in just a little bit. But did you know we have 2 streams? This is just Stream A, but Stream B has been breaking down the action all tournament long, all the days, and they've been crushing it. Let's check in with Stream B with John and Zach.
Bonjour, welcome back to day 2 of the group stages here at the Esports World Cup. There was lots of action on and off the board yesterday, but today we are focusing mainly on the lower bracket.
Yes, Johns, the big names are through. Magnus Carlsen, Hikaru Nakamura, Alireza Firouzja, and Nordabek Abdusattorov have all made it through.
Now, from a club championship point of view, Team Falcons have 2 players through, which is critical, and AGAL are still alive in the competition, courtesy of Denis Lazovic after he faced Hikaru yesterday.
Yesterday graced us with an absolute bombshell of a match between Jan Nepomniachtchi and Hans Niemann. What about that Armageddon? It was insane.
Possibly one of the standout moments of yesterday with the table slam, the mouse slip, it had everything. Today, though, we have some pretty exciting matches. Pranesh Benjamin Bok is on my radar. We've also got Wei Yi against Nihal Sarin, 2 of the heavy hitters from the tournament, some of the fastest players in the world, especially Nihal. So with elimination on the line, it's going to be very exciting to watch.
Those 2 matches sound very interesting. How about Sarana against Sina Movahead? And we have Andrei Stepenko, who's playing Jan Nepomniachtchi as well.
Lots and lots of heavy hitters all throughout the day today, so we find out at the end of today who advances to the playoffs. See you guys in a bit.
David and I have to pick 2 players who make it to the playoffs today. David Howell, do you want to go first?
Oh, it's a tough one. After you, Tanya.
Always putting me on a spot, the usual here by David. All right, I am a millennial, David. I am going with Gen G as my first pick. Arjun Aragaisiades. I think his style lends himself for a deep run in this format. You know, his combative play, his attacking chess. It's fearless, it's entertaining for us and the fans.
Oh, it's a good choice, Tanya. Very patriotic. Team India?
He knows me well.
I'm going to choose Wei Yi, Team Nemesis. He's a cool customer. He's like the ice to Arjun's fire. He can do anything. He can beat anyone. I think today might be his day.
And what a run Wei had getting into the play-ins yesterday. It was fantastic, so I see where that pick is coming from. All right, for my second one, I'm going to speak the language of the people. This one's for you, chat. Any guesses? Well, I am going for Hans Niemann on this. You know, he's polarizing. He's got everything to prove, and he plays exactly like that. Love him or hate him, entertainment, drama, guaranteed. It's Hans Niemann, and who doesn't love a bit of godlike chess?
Yeah, the choice speaks for itself, Tanya. I think the world would love to see a Magnus versus Hans rematch. I'm going to go for Denis Lazovic, one of the youngest players. I think today's going to be his day.
It's going to be exciting to watch. Well, 8 keys will get crushed. 4 players will make it through to the playoffs. Action starts now.
Thank you, everyone, for the updates, not only on Stream B, but also the favorites for today, because today is a big day. And what are we labeling it? It's our Crunchyroll story of the day. It's Judgment Day. It's a big one. 8 keys are going to be crushed. It's all about survival. There are no more second chances today. All the matches, Nemo, that are going to be played are elimination matches, which means keys will be crushed each and every single game. The heart of the competitor fully silenced here at the EWC in 2026 when it comes to chess. And we've got some great matches we want to talk about, specifically starting up Benjamin Bok going against Pranesh. These 2 titans about to face off.
This is going to be a fun one. They will be on Stream B, so don't forget to check that out as well. But Bok has had quite the EWC role change. You know, he was my co-analyst last year on Stream B, and now we're seeing him play on the main stage at EWC.
So he was a talent, but he's always been good at chess, clearly, because you don't just randomly go talent, I want to play some chess, it looks fun, I'm going to go ahead and go on the main stage. So from talent to main stage, that's a cool little story.
It's absolutely amazing, but he is going up against Pranesh, who, I don't know, what do you think, Anna?
Pranesh is incredible. He's only 19 years old, so he is
one of the youngest competitors here in the EWC for chess. And he's a really strong player. I believe he is a bit higher rated in classical chess than Benjamin Bach. And I think he's also won against him a few times. So I think this match is going to be very close. But we need to remember that the winner of this match will be facing Arjun Erigaisi, who got 4th last year here.
That's crazy too. 4th place. That's a big matchup, but it's been tough for everyone, including those coming from LCQ. The play-in on day 1. Magnus Carlsen, Firouzja, These matches don't get easier if you want to push up. Let's take a look at our schedule for today. First, taking a look at A stream right here where you are currently watching. We got 2 lower bracket matches, and then we'll figure out what's going to be going forward. Talking A, Nihal Sarin going against Wei Yi, and then Nepomniachtchi versus Yesepenko. Now, 2 very, very good matches. And for Virtus Pro, they are definitely banking on the fact their player goes forward. Anna, which one's the most fun to you?
I think both matches are going to be so much fun. I do want to see, I'm really excited for the Nepo Yesepenko one, because we saw Nepo yesterday. He did this kind of slam on the table. There were so many emotions when he was playing against Hans, and when he did that blunder at the very end. So let's see, is he coming back today tilted, or is he coming back today full force playing his best chess? I do think it's going to be very exciting. I honestly am rooting for Wei Yi versus Sarin to be an exciting match, which I'm sure it's going to be. Wei Yi has had a crazy journey to get to this spot. You know, he's been in the LCQ, he played in play-ins. It's been wild. He's been here for like a week. So yeah, he's probably warmed up, or maybe he's tired.
Ooh, could be, The fatigue starts to hit, especially with multi-day events such as this. Let's take a look at Stream B's schedule. They're going to have 2 great matches as well. Pranesh Bach, which we just talked about a little bit, but Sarana going against Move Ahead. Now, that's going to be a fun one for Move Ahead, A younger player. You talked about 19 for Pranesh, I believe Move Ahead 16?
16 years old, and I mean, Move Ahead, he's just so strong. We saw yesterday, he missed a checkmate in 3 versus Denis Lazovic. So he was so close there to going through. And so, yeah, I think he's a super strong player. I'm very excited. Sarana also very strong.
Absolutely.
Almost, I mean, he had a fantastic match against Hikaru, so going to be a very fun match.
Going to be fun indeed. Can the Young Guns hold their ground on the main stage? That's the big question we have, but of course, they're the ones who give us the answers. For the Club Championship update, it's getting close at the top. It really is. We're in week 6, and we need some updates via Trav for Club Championship update powered by Aramco.
There's already 4 players into the playoffs of chess, and that is going to get valuable Club Championship points for their clubs. So far, it's Magnus Carlsen from Team Liquid, Alireza Firouzja and Hikaru Nakamura for Team Falcons, and Nordebek Abdustatorov for Na'Vi. This is going to put them in a great position to go forward and try and overtake AGL, who at the moment sits on top of the leaderboard with 3,350 points. Focusing in a little bit more on AGL though, they've just been knocked out of PUBG Mobile yesterday and Rainbow Six Siege in the past week, so much pressure now lands on Denis Lazovic's shoulders. Going into today, he's got a long road cut out for him. Yesterday, he lost to Hikaru Nakamura and forced into the lower bracket, which means he's going to have to get a win today, and it's make or break. Otherwise, they'll be going home, and AGL's week will be over. Team Vitality are looking to mount a bit of a comeback, as they're still looking very good in both PUBG Mobile and Rocket League this week. Just a few more points will get them right on Na'Vi and on Team Falcon's heels, so we'll see if they're able to do that this week. There's still so much more to go throughout chess and so many keys to be crushed throughout today, so stay tuned for more.
This is day 3, ladies and gentlemen, at the Esports World Cup in chess. $1.5 million is at stake. And in the group stages, now we are in the final stretch. We started with 16 of the world's strongest, fastest chess players, but half of them will be eliminated today. They will have to go home and their keys will get crushed. Kostya, Zach, we are in here for the first match that will be crucial to figure out who will take the final 4 spots in the playoffs. We have Magnus Carlsen for Team Liquid. We have Alireza Firouzja and Hikaru Nakamura for Team Falcons. And Nordebek Abdusatorov for Team Na'Vi. The 4 of them already are through to the playoffs. starting tomorrow. They are taking a bit of a break today, maybe some sightseeing in Paris, but there's still 4 more spots left in the playoffs. Today it will be decided who will make it and who will have to go home. Kostya, I'm looking at you first to introduce our fighters in this first match today. Pranesh against Benjamin Bach.
Yeah, Anna, basically we have 2 outsiders that are trying to get into that playoff stage. Pranesh and Benjamin Bach. They both lost their first match yesterday, which means they've had all day and this morning to prepare for this next upcoming match. And they'll have to win twice today. After their match, they are facing a certain Arjun Aragaisi in the decider match. We heard in the pre-show, today is Judgment Day. Dreams will be crushed. Either one of them that gets to that second match against Arjun will be a heavy underdog. But first, they have to get through each other.
They have to get through each other, and this is the lower bracket already. There are no second chances. Zach, we have seen this in the play-ins, and now today, this is the exact same format. You're in the lower bracket. If you lose, you are out. Your key will get crushed, and you need to book your ticket to home. So what is that like, this situation, do you think? Best of 2 games, 1 with each color, and there is no second chance for either player.
Yes, everything is on the line for these players. Man, we witnessed a lot of important elimination matches so far in that first day, and now here on the third day, we're seeing even more. And it's high stakes. You know, we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars here at stake. You need to play with everything, and the pressure's on the line for this as well.
The pressure is on and the game is about to get started. We have 19-year-old Pranesh representing Seoul and Benjamin Bach, 31-year-old player from MGD1. The players are getting their final instructions before this all-decisive match gets started. A reminder on the time control, it's 10 minutes, no increment, and this is the match that will eliminate one of these really strong grandmasters. I'm so curious how this match will unfold, what openings we will see, and who will get to surprise home, because the surprise element in speed chess is really crucial as well. Kostya, your thoughts on these 2 grandmasters as they are getting started here, just the final touches, adjusting their headsets, adjusting the keyboard, the seats and the keys. One of these keys will not stay intact at the end of the match.
Well, make no mistake, Anna, both of these guys are incredibly good at chess. You could take 100,000 random people in the world and both of these guys would crush every single last one of them. Of course, they're not as well known as some of the top stars, but these guys are insanely good. Both of their blitz ratings are well over 3,000. They're always competing for the top spots in Title Tuesday, and now they are going to have to show their best because someone is going home.
Someone is going home, and we do have the first moves coming in. It's a King's Pawn opening. I will leave it to you guys to cover the action, and I'm so curious to see which one of them will make it through.
And Zach, looks like we have a Scotch opening on the board. You have experience with this one, yes?
Yes, I've faced this many times with the black pieces. I've played it with the white pieces myself. It's a very good opening, good reputation for both sides. Black can play for a win, white can play for a win. I'm overall happy for both sides here. What do you think?
No, it's a really interesting choice. Like, we don't see the Scotch that often at the highest levels. It's usually Rui Lopez, the Italian game. These are definitely more common. And here, Pranesh playing with the white pieces. He opts for the Scotch, which is a bit of a rare choice at this level. But Bach, of course, he plays so much online chess. He is well familiar. As we see Pranesh closing his eyes a bit, maybe trying to remember some of that opening theory. Now, some viewers might not be so familiar with Pranesh, but he's actually at his peak rating right now, 2673 FIDE. He's one of India's latest rising stars. Bach, of course, has been on the circuit for a few more years. Is a couple years older than Pranesh. But yeah, Zach, I got to put you on the spot. Who are you taking here?
I don't know. It's that tale as old as time, you know, experience versus that young 19-year-old in Pranesh. Pranesh has had such a good year. He's rising so fast. In the last year, he's gained 84 classical FIDE rated points, which is insane. He's rising the ranks. So on paper, you would say Pranesh, but Bach has those blitz and bullet skills that can bear a lot of fruit late in the later stages of this game.
Speaking of Rising, Bach qualified to this event through the India Rising match, right? Where he had to defeat a number of Pranesh's countrymen, including Arjun Erigaisi, who they might face in the next round, Vidya Gujarati. Pranesh also tried to qualify through that event, but was knocked out himself. So Bach has a lot of experience playing against everyone in particular, but it seems like lately, he's done well against some of the Indian players. So I'm sure he's going confident into this match. And yeah, already I think we're leaving the opening stage. Sometimes we get this like super early end game, but no end game in this one.
Yes, and it's a position that's very interesting here for the white pieces. It seems as though both minor pieces, that black knight, that black bishop on the queen side, the left side of the board, are kind of stuck in this position.
Absolutely. And I already like White's position here a lot. I wonder if Bach messed something up. Notice he's already spent over 2.5 minutes out of his 10, 25% of his total time. Generally, the opening is the fastest stage of the game because the players know so many actual book moves. Their knowledge runs very deep. But it seems like Bach maybe took some time to remember something or looked for some kind of sideline. But I feel like White's position is already clearly better. And like you said, it's these two pieces on the queen side for Black. They're heavily restricted by this B3, C4 pawn chain. It's going to be up to Black to get these pieces back into play with some kind of pawn break. But right now, this game is looking very nice for Pranesh.
Yes, Pranesh has a lot of space to look at that pawn deliciously placed on that center of the board.
Yummy, yummy.
Yummy, 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 yummy. It's a very happy pawn there. Under defended, but you don't need to defend that pawn as much as you should.
And look, Pranesh has been closing his eyes a lot over the last couple moves, but I don't think he's doing a Beth Harmon and calculating. I think he's actually trying to psych himself up, get into the zone, stay focused. Both of these players at a cool 100 heartbeats per minute to start off this match.
And it seems as though Pranesh has sacrificed a pawn?
Yeah, he did give up this e-pawn. Now he goes bishop to b2, but playing lightning fast, indicating that he's still in his preparation. Computer seems to agree that White's position is perfectly fine here. In fact, much better. And I think the point is that you are giving up a pawn, but you have this long-term strategic compensation, given the fact that both of Black's pieces on the queen side are just out of the game.
And he's going to make use of that by manufacturing some activity against that king side of the board.
Yeah, I think these dark squared bishops might come off soon, and then Black's king is going to be missing that fianchettoed bishop defender that is so important, whereas White's king is extremely safe. Now, Pranesh here indicating this is a classic moment. He's been blitzing out all of his moves. Bach makes this move queen to c5. Now he's taking time, indicating that Bach did not play a move that's in his preparation, right? Sometimes that means the move is a mistake. In fact, Engine is saying knight to c3 here for White. He's already giving White a huge advantage, looking to put that knight into the center, maybe knight to e4, and then going after those kingside dark squares.
Pranesh is taking quite the time here. His first long term of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very curious. He definitely has an idea that he's got something. Something's itching.
Yeah, these players know if the opponent plays something that's not in your preparation, that means the computer probably thinks it's a mistake, and so he's investing that time to try and figure out why. Now he goes knight to d2. It was much better, according to the engine, to put his knight out to c3. But this move is very logical, right? In his mind, he's thinking these bishops have to get traded. If I block my bishop, well then I don't get the trade. He still is looking for knight to e4, but it looks like Bach manages to trade on b2. Now knight e4 is a massive threat.
Massive threat on the board there, and Bach immediately says, no knight to e4 for you.
D5.
I'm taking that up with my pawn.
Fantastic move. And as it often happens, Pranesh had this chance out of the opening. He doesn't spot the computer refutation, and now Black is just completely fine. He's broken in the center, and he is managing to get his pieces on the queen side some activity. Now the bishop on a6 and then on b6. They actually have a purpose. They are attacking this pawn on c4.
This pawn move is particularly strong for the black pieces because not only you're preventing your opponent's counterplay, but you're also liberating your sleeping pieces on that queen side that have virtually had no play or action since the beginning of the game.
Yeah, exactly. So very, very important pawn break. Very thematic for all king pawn players as Black e4, e5 enjoyers. You want to often find a way to break with this d pawn. And now, very interesting move by Pramesh. The computer doesn't like it, but a4, he's looking to expand on that queen side and target that knight on b6.
Yeah, it looks like he's looking to displace that knight to put some pressure on this pawn in the center, this d5 pawn.
And I wonder if he's setting a trap, because right now black could take the pawn on c4, but then you would have knight e4, maybe b4, all kinds of moves. Said Bach plays queen to b4. I like this move a lot, getting his queen to a very nice kind of outpost type of square on the b file.
The queen cannot be attacked from that square on b4. Really nice move while keeping up the pressure for the black pieces. I really like the black position suddenly.
Yeah, it looks very active. He's got counterplay. He's not letting that knight on d2 get into the king side. And now Pranav is going to have to spend a bit more time here to try and figure out how to proceed. It does feel like he's under some heavy pressure, right? At some point, the c-pawn is going to start to hang.
Feels like Pranesh needs to find a resource here. Otherwise, he's just going to be worse.
Yeah. I mean, and he's taking his time. I think he's definitely looking for his options here. And what do you do about this threat of d takes c4 and then c4 c3, right? Going after the queen and knight.
Oh, and he finds the only move keeping balance in this position. Really well done by Pranesh. Queen to d4.
Queen d4. I would expect now black to just bring his rook to line up against that queen. Rook a d8 seems like an automatic move here, threatening once again to take on c4 with tempo. But yeah, nice find by Pranesh here, clearly showing some high class in this game.
His idea is that if you take my pawn with your pawn, I bring my knight to the center of the board, knight to e4, and threatening to jump to f6. Basically checkmating the king, but more directly, you're winning in exchange.
Yeah, that would be huge for white. So Bach here spending a bit of time. He's still down on the clock. It's not such a big deal right now because he's got plenty of time. We saw Firouzja yesterday survive against Wei Yi, 20 seconds against minute and a half. I'm never going to forget that game. It was Wei Yi who ended up flagging from that time.
And Firouzja got a winning position despite that flag. It was crazy.
Yeah, these guys are so incredibly fast. When they decide to turn it on, some of them are just unstoppable. They play all the best moves without using time. It's really a superpower.
And you can see that superpower here. Pranesh took 57 seconds to find this only move, queen d4, and nails it. Absolute precision needed in this knockout stage.
Yeah, exactly. When these guys have to find something precise, they know how to take their time and find that accurate continuation. Now it's Bach's turn to start tanking a bit as he's deciding how to continue here. Feels like he's got a number of reasonable moves. There he goes, plays the most natural rook a8. I feel like I would have played that move in 2 seconds with my Patzer brain, but of course Bach calculating all of his options, trying to figure out if he had anything better, but does go with just a natural developing rook move. And now seems like he's reinstated the threat of d takes c4.
And what do you do as the white pieces? This threat is very, very vicious. The black pieces are have all their pieces in the game, and it feels like white can't keep up.
Pushes a5. I think that move makes a lot of sense. Hitting the knight. Bach, a bit of a reaction there. Didn't really love seeing that. And this is interesting because now black could take on c4 and counterattack the queen on d4. That queen's worth a lot more than the knight on b6. But I wonder what Pranesh has in mind there. He's got rook takes e8 with check to distract the rook, and then he just wins the knight. So dc4 here, I think, would just be a massive blunder.
Very interesting move, refuting the opponent's counterplay. It is a move-by-move struggle. This is heating up into a sharp battle.
Very, very sharp. So sharp, even the engine is starting to suggest some very strange moves that wouldn't make any sense to a human here. So knight here, I think, has to draw it back. Knight to c8 looks like a logical square. You can bring it back into the game via the d6 or e7 squares. Knight d7 is also possible, but then you don't really want to block your rook like that.
Yeah, it remains to be seen. Bach is down to 3 minutes at this point in the game. His opponent has twice as much time. It is really, we're entering danger territory.
Big time. I mean, these guys are used to playing 3-minute chess, but it's not 3 against 6. It's a huge advantage for Pranesh right now on the clock. And yeah, if you run out of time, you lose the game. Bach is very good at relying on that increment.
And we have a blunder on the board.
Whoa, he grabs
Queen
his
takes
pawn on
pawn,
a5.
and this is losing on the spot.
Wait, rook a1? It's just a
Pranesh
skewer.
is just winning a piece.
Just a simple skewer. What has Bach missed? Clearly,
Bach
he has some idea in
lost
mind.
Control of this game, and Pranesh is just looking at options.
I mean, rook a1, that's a classic skewer. You're just winning a piece.
That's a full piece up. The rook would slide to the corner, attack the queen, attack the undefended bishop behind it, and just force the queen away, win the bishop.
Look at Pranesh. He's totally spotted. He's in puzzle rush mode. And there's Bach. Oh, he just realized how badly he's blundered.
He's like, how did I miss this?
I don't see a move for black. Everything is defended from white's position. The D pawn is pinned to the rook, so there's no D take c4.
Now you could try to attack the queen with a pawn move sliding up for black, but I take your queen, you take my queen, and your bishop is still hanging.
Bishop's still hanging at the end of the line. It's just a winning endgame for white. Pranesh confused. What has the opponent missed? And yeah, there's Bach. He's starting to shake his head. He's now going under 2 minutes, and he's about to be down a piece. I think this game is just over.
We might see resignation soon.
I think it's a little early just because there are pieces on the board. We've seen so many crazy mouse slips in this event so far. I think you do want to play on a couple moves here, but in a classical game, absolutely. This would just be resigns.
Benjamin Bach down on time, down on position. We've seen this scenario before. It is a very low odds to turn this around.
Yeah, I mean, he's just going to need a blunder from Pranesh, but I don't think Pranesh, so far, he's just played way too good here to blunder a position like this. Just needs to make sure all of his pieces are defended. Right now, queen is covered, knight is covered, bishop is covered. That rook on a6 is a bit funny, but black has no way of attacking it. I'm expecting him to either take on a7 or just bring the rook back next move.
And pawn to d4 here. Might I remind the viewers, the white pieces are up a full piece in this position. Like,
yeah.
You need to show up for the position at some point and prove some compensation. Otherwise, you're just playing for nothing here.
I mean, it's a full piece. It's not just a pawn up. It's a piece up. It's like playing a soccer game with like 3 extra guys. I mean, it's quite a big advantage. Now he can snag another pawn with rook takes e7. But okay, Bach wants to play knight to e5, go after white's queen. Not seeing a ton of counterplay there, but these guys love to just be as precise as possible. Maybe knight f3 now, covering this square, covering the e1 square. A lot of good options here for white.
Yeah, one of the best ways to convert here is to just cancel your opponent's counterplay to have a smooth path. But it seems like Pranesh doesn't really care about his opponent's knight jumping to the center here, attacking the queen. He just wants to collect.
Yeah, he says, I got everything under control. I'm going to take another pawn. Now my rook is active. There's queen c3. You don't see a queen trade being offered when you're down a piece. But if white takes, then that c-pawn becomes very annoying. Pranesh wants none of that. Drops back. And now Bach is back to square one. He's down to about a minute here in order to try and save this game. But objectively, this one is over.
This queen might slide onto the square e7, attack the rook, attack the knight. And from there on out, black has almost nothing to do.
Yeah, this game is not going Bach's way. I think we're going to see resignation here just because he's simply heading towards that flag with 30 seconds on the clock.
And king f8, the last try to take up the vital square of e7.
Yeah, there's bishop to d5.
And now Pranesh has all his pieces entering the game. This queen can slide to the square f3, propose a queen trade, threaten checkmate in one move. It is almost a conclusive position.
Yeah, Pranesh here has been brutal with the conversion here. He's not trying to play it safe. He just continues to find all the best moves. And yeah, he's just moments away from winning this first game. Now, don't go knight e4 here. That'll blunder your queen on f3.
Ooh, that's true.
Never too late. I'd go knight f1. Just save that knight.
I'm more of a queen f4 guy myself. Defending the knight, keeping the pressure on that weak f7 pawn.
Oh, queen f4 is very strong.
While defending against that black pawn that might slide through and try to promote.
Just advancing the queen one square, and then you defend everything. You get ready to go for the kill with queen h6 check.
Ah, but he does your option.
He does the safe.
Knight f1. It's good to be safe, though.
Safe, yeah. Safety first. Now knight e5, but he's got check to get out of this double attack. And then maybe we're about to see your move, queen f4, happen on the board.
Queen is attacked 2 ways here in this position. It feels like you must move your queen, but what do I know? No, down to under 20 seconds here.
Yeah, 20 seconds. I think he's just kind of playing out of inertia, but he will have to strike back in the next game. Otherwise, his tournament life is over.
At least we can say he will have the white pieces in that game, so he has a little bit better chances.
100%, yeah.
It'll still be a challenge.
Having to win with black on demand, just decidedly harder than having to win with the white pieces. There's knight to d3. Now, if white's queen strays too far from the king side, there is a bit of danger here. So he repeats once. There's knight to e1. Bach trying for some tricks.
You still can't take that queen because that black pawn becomes too powerful.
Queen f4, there's another repetition. Pranesh here needs to make sure he doesn't blunder into a threefold, and all of a sudden we have a draw. But Zach, this is maybe not so easy for white to convert.
It isn't that easy. You can never trade off queens, which usually is the fastest way to conversion when you're up a piece. taking off the stronger pieces, but here, what does he do?
I think Bach has actually managed to swindle in some counterplay. The problem is he's got 13 seconds on his clock. Even if he manages to get back in the game, he is still flagging this one unless he mates Pranesh in the next 13 seconds.
Pranesh can still hunt the flag. Oh, and he goes back to D1.
There's another repetition, but he avoids it with queen to D1 just in the nick of time. Now Bach goes knight to D3, looking for rook to E1, but he's only got 10 seconds. But he is fast enough, so if we see a blunder here from Pranesh, who's clearly starting to get a little bit nervous, this game might turn around.
Absolutely insane stuff. I thought this game was over 10 moves ago, and suddenly he's back in the game.
I thought it was rook E1. Objectively, Black is fine.
What a turnaround. It's objectively equal, but Bach has 9.5 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, Pranesh has to find queen F3 here, and then it seems like Black has some kind of perpetual there. With rook takes F1, queen C1 check. That's not easy to find, but that's also not easy for Pranesh to defend against. I think Bach is going to spot it. He has to. He has no time.
Bach is absolutely locked in with 9 seconds on the clock. It's 9 seconds against 2 minutes, mind you. So what do you do as the white pieces? Do you just flag your opponent, or do you play precisely with that 2 minutes on the clock and take your time?
Well, you gotta take your time here. No, he's losing now.
My God,
Queen E1 check takes Queen F1.
But he missed a win, and now it's equal again.
Oh,
Black has to find
the
an
win.
only move, and now it's winning again for the white pieces.
Not enough time to figure it out. And now Pranesh is back in control. If he can avoid getting mated in the next 3 seconds. G5 check. You can take that with check.
You can't take with the queen because you get checkmated. Knight G6. Oh my goodness. Knight G6. And this is a draw by force?
But he's got no time. Bring the king back.
Queen
oh, he
E1,
makes the wrong pre-move.
Slip.
No, I think he pre-moved that because he had to, but
he pre-moved it.
He messes it up. And now Pranesh has time to cover the checks, and yeah, Bach is flagging this one.
And now it's game over. What a turn of events. Winning for white, losing for white, equal. Pranesh went through all the emotions, and so did Bach there as they prepared to enter their second game. Nothing is over yet.
I would advise the players not to play through the eval graph on this one. They're not going to be happy with what they've seen. Bach apparently missed a win, but so difficult to find. So difficult to find. Very, very tough.
Especially with 8 seconds on the clock.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy.
I mean, give him a minute. You know, he probably does spot it. He's that good. But with seconds on the clock, you're just playing on pure instincts there. And Pranesh, look at him. He's trying to center himself. Love this mindset. Of course, representing Team Seoul is Pranesh. Bach playing for Team MGD1. And yeah, he's not happy with that one, Zach. Zach, that should have been a clean win from once he won the piece.
It should have been a clean win. Once you win a piece, conversion should be very effortless, but he took extra time, and then suddenly his queen was doing something, a defensive job, an attacking job. It couldn't decide, and he managed to give Benjamin Bach enough counterplay to get back into the game and get a winning position at the very end.
Yeah.
But Bach just didn't have enough time on his clock.
But credit to Bach there for actually managing to drum up some counterplay from a position that should have been pretty much over. I guess that's the drawback. You know, we saw Pranesh there. He made some practical choices, but it also looked like he was trying to find the most efficient way to win the game, the most precise. And then he got into a complicated position that he couldn't quite figure out with the low time.
And we're into a game 2 as Benjamin Bach starts it off with an English opening.
Yeah, this has been his preferred choice from this event. He also played this against Jan Krzysztof Duda in their match yesterday. And let's just say it again, must-win game for Benjamin Bach. Otherwise, his career at the EWC 2026 comes to an end.
Yeah, Bach has everything to play for in this game. He's on a must-win with the white pieces. If Pranesh draws or even wins, it's over.
It's over. Yeah, Pranesh very comfortable here with the black pieces. Seems to be quite happy with the setup here. Now just kind of pushing some pawns, taking squares away from white's pieces that they can't jump to where they would like to. Soon black will castle as well and look to strike in the center, maybe with a move like d7, d5.
And Kosta, you play this with the white pieces. What can you tell us about this opening?
Well, the interesting thing about the English opening, it is known as kind of a strategic one, but in fact, it is a reverse Sicilian. The Sicilian being one of the most dynamic openings in chess. So it can go either way, but most players, I would say, they do try to play it strategically. They got try to get a little space advantage. And with this last move, a2, a3, Bach is actually showing his intentions for his long-term middle game plan. He wants to advance that b pawn 2 squares, then another square, and use that powerful bishop on the long diagonal. This is the so-called English bishop. It's White's absolute best piece. And we see Pranesh, he's been trying to blunt that bishop with his pawn chain, b7, c6. And now White is fighting against it. He's trying to increase the scope of the bishop and trying to create some long-term positional pressure against Black's queenside.
White takes a lot of space on that queenside with that last move, pawn to b4, attacking the bishop. Bishop slides forward, attacking this knight, attacking that rook behind it. This is called a pin in chess. The knight is attacked, but also can't move. The rook would be hanging.
Yeah, time to defend. I think bishop b2 looks like the most logical move here, just kind of lining the bishops up against one another. I guess bishop d2 also makes some sense. There's queen to b3, queen to c2, a lot of ways to defend this knight. Let's see what Bach chooses here.
Bach has chosen to put this game into positional grounds, not as obvious for Pranesh to win. Of course, last game, Pranesh won by tactical means, so maybe it's in his interest to make this a more ambiguous type of setup.
Yeah, Pranesh definitely a very kind of dynamic style. He's a very quick player. Bach, I would say, more of a strategist. I think he likes kind of grinding small advantages, building up his position. So this opening definitely suits him quite a bit as Black just strikes back in the center with this move d7, d5. There's e3 posing the question to the bishop. Bach loves a good bishop pair, as a lot of players at the high level do, inviting Black to trade on c3 and give up his strong dark squared bishop.
And Bach would greatly benefit from that bishop pair if there were a trade.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what to do? Pranesh here thinking about it. You know, he doesn't want to give up the bishop most likely, but he also doesn't want to just go back and lose time. Because then it was like, what's the point of bishop to d4? You allowed White to get his queen out. You allow White to play e3. So the most kind of ambitious would be to take. He does do so. And now let's see what his follow-up is.
Oh, bishop to h3.
Ooh, attacking that rook on f1. Yeah, it's a nice move. And now I don't think White wants to drop his bishop back and trade off that light-scored bishop. I think he's going to move his rook over, just deciding between rook to e1, rook to d1. Where is this rook better placed?
Seems after bishop to h3 attacking this rook, the bishop kind of swarms in around that king, and suddenly you have some king safety issues.
It's an unpleasant move for White. You never want to allow this bishop on h3 to live long. But on the other hand, you also don't want to trade off your own light-scored bishop. You lose your best piece. The light scores around your king end up vulnerable as well. So there we see rook to d1, trying to just kind of play around that bishop and avoid the so-called elephant in the room.
There you go. And coming into this middle game, it looks like Black has a lot of space. Usually the Black pieces, you know, they have a setup, low amount of space, but it seems like Black is taking the center with these two central pawns and is in better control of the situation.
Yeah, I think Black's position is very, very solid. But on the other hand, White does have the bishop pair, and in the long run, the bishops can become very, very strong. It's kind of up to Black here to justify his play. But yeah, Black is a nice center. He's got trumps of his own. Meanwhile, I'm expecting maybe bishop to b2 here. Just put the bishop on the long diagonal and then see what's what. But does Black have some ideas here with e5, e4? Is that annoying? Looks a little tempting. I think that maybe this is what Bach is trying to think about. And he does go bishop to b2. But computer is already starting to like Black's position.
It seems like Black just has a lot of control. Question is, will he be able to play on that action he has on the king side of the board? He already has his bishop sweeping in. His knight might be gravitating to this nice square g5.
Yeah, we just see this maneuver, knight h7, coming out to g5 to harass that light-scored bishop. Bach drops it back prophylactically, avoiding this attack from the knight on g5. Black's queen maybe can also get into the picture at some point as well. Now, if you're Pranesh, do not move that e-pawn. Do not touch that e-pawn. You will get mated on the spot with queen takes g7. You know, if I was Bach here, I'd pre-move queen takes g7, just in case.
Just in case, you never know.
Yeah, because the pre-move, you know, it'll only get played if it's a legal move. And it's only legal if Black plays e4 here.
There you go. Low risk, high reward.
Yeah, rook to c8, no queen takes g7. on the board. I like this move, rook c8 actually. It's kind of nice, anticipating that if white ever captures on d5 with the pawn, black's rook can open up against the queen.
And so it begs to be asked, what is this knight move's purpose? Because it moves to h7 and it hasn't moved since.
Yeah, but there we might see it here. Bishop to g4, eyeing that f3 square, eyeing that h3 square, opening up the route for the knight to get in. And this is going to be very annoying for white's king. Ooh, f3.
A big concession in this position for the white pieces, although it's the best move.
Computer loves it. Yeah,
I feel like
you had to play it.
The pawn structure around the king is quite soft now.
Yeah, you rarely want, your pawns just lined up like ducks 4 in a row, because this means they're not defending each other. You got some weaknesses here. You also don't want your pawns all in the same color, because then you get the so-called Swiss cheese structure. So it's hard to find a solid structure here for white. Now he does have the option to kind of trap in that bishop with g4, but that bishop doesn't stay trapped very long. Black will immediately break it out with some kind of pawn push.
And it seemed like Pranesh had a big chance at advantage a few moves ago, but missed out with this bishop move and then bring the bishop back. That was losing a little bit of time, and now it's an advantage, but it's not as concrete as before.
Yeah, I still think black's position here is quite solid, but look at this. He brings the knight back, kind of admitting maybe his knight h7 move didn't have such a point after all. On the other hand, white did play f3, totally blocking in that bishop on h1, the prized possession of white's army there.
The knight slides back to f6. Feels like overall, black just lost 2 moves. Went to h7, come back to f6.
But he's still doing good. He's got the center. Although I would say if you're Bach here, I feel like as far as being in a must-win situation, this is a really, I think, decent position to have, because there's a lot of room for black to go wrong here. And there's f4, opening up the light-scored bishop, challenging the pawn on e5, trying to open up the dark-scored bishop as well. Definitely, I think, a very good strategic decision from white's point of view.
White inherits this bathtub pawn structure, as you might say, with those pawns forming a kind of a bathtub setup looking.
There's e takes f4. White recaptures with the e pawn. And now Pranesh trying to figure out how to continue here. We've got an open e file. Zach, as the position opens up, the bishops do get stronger and stronger. So I can see this turning around for Bach very, very quickly.
Yeah, might I say that before, when the center and the control was in Pranesh's order, I preferred the black pieces, but now, as this rook trades off, white inherits this file, this diagonal is white. It looks like Bach is increasing his control in the position.
Yeah, what's Pranesh doing? He just traded on e1, gave up the e-file, takes on c4, opening up the position further. He's trying to do something very concrete here. Just wondering what's his intention here after d takes c4.
Yeah, it looks like he's giving up the tension, right? By making all these trades.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his follow-up is. I don't know if he knows either, given that he's starting to spend time. Computer still thinks his position is absolutely fine, but earlier he had an advantage, but now it's really starting to trend in white's favor.
I like the long-term potential of the white pieces here. Benjamin Bach, move by move, looks like he's improving his position and his chances to make a comeback.
Absolutely. Bishops have 3 now. Now getting the bishop out. He can play rook to d1 if he wants. But okay. I mean, white still has a lot of work to do here to create some winning chances. Black has just played queen to d7, maybe looking to harass that bishop on f3 by challenging it with his own bishop. Maybe wants to bring his rook over to the e-file next, challenge for the e-file. But the thing is, with this bishop pair, you can trade pieces if you're white, especially the rook and the queen, and you're still going to have this kind of long-term advantage if you can keep those bishops into the endgame.
It's all a matter of whether or not you can manage to trade queens and then profit off those 2 bishops lasering through the board.
Now it's Bach's turn to take a bit of a think as he is down a full minute to Pranesh. We saw Bach in massive time trouble in the last game, which basically cost him the game, given that he was able to actually save it on the board.
It did indeed. At one point, Bach had twice as less time as Pranesh, and that eventually cost him in the later stages.
There's rook to d1, attacking the queen on d7. Now, what are we going to see here from Pranesh? Queen to f5. He's bringing the queen closer to white's king. starting to look slightly uncomfortable for white on these light squares. I can see bishop to g4 happening very, very soon. And yeah, at some point, maybe the knight jumps in. Not anytime soon, though, actually, because this knight is still very much pinned to that g7 pawn.
This game could still go any way.
Yeah.
Black could win. It could be a draw. White could win. And I think it will be influenced by major factors such as time control. Bach is a little bit behind on the clock.
There's queen to d3 offering the endgame. I don't know if Pranesh wants to take this one. I feel like it's a very pleasant endgame for white. He's got the bishop pair. His rook is more active. His king can get into the action. Yeah, there we see Pranesh keeping the queens on the board. Note how objectively Pranesh is playing. He knows all he needs is a draw, but that doesn't mean he's just trading everything off. You trade down into a losing endgame, you're going to lose the game. We saw Magnus win some fantastic endgames yesterday against some of the world's best players. And yeah, Bach is no endgame slouch either. You give him a nice endgame, and there he goes again. He's looking for that endgame with queen to e2. Pranesh says, no, thank you. We can repeat moves if you want. We can repeat moves, make a little draw. Make a little draw.
I'd make a little draw.
Half point each. You'd make a draw here.
I'd make a draw. You make a draw.
I'd take a draw. I'd take that deal. No, Pranesh, of course, wants to draw. Bach, under no circumstances, can accept 3-time repetition. So he's going to have to find another move here other than queen to d3. Nope, he does play queen d3, but then queen e6. Okay, he's going to have to find another move here other than queen to e2.
So Benjamin Bach with queen e2 out of the option cabinet, and he goes with...
There we go, bishop to c3. I like this move. Now he's got rook to e1 whenever he wants. He can bring the rook back to d1. Just slowly improving his position. It's still a very, very tense game. But Pranesh, 2 minutes up on the clock. If he can keep his cool here and avoid blundering, he's got great chances to advance to the next stage.
Yes. Has to be said again that Benjamin Bach is down to 2 minutes and a half. Again, it's a time trouble issue, really, because we're only at move 30. If this game goes to move 50, Bach will be struggling.
Yeah, but we did see Bach lock into that last game, and he was just playing amazing moves. He literally just ran out of time in that last one, but he managed to save it, coming back from a full piece down, even having a win at one point, which was absolutely remarkable. The bishop to f5, hitting that queen on d3. Maybe we'll see queen e2 now, offering another endgame. But at some point, bishop to g4 again comes into the picture, and if Black can trade off the light squared bishops at least, then I think his chances improve dramatically, even if we do see the endgame. But let's see what Bach goes for. Queen to d4. Okay, reigniting that battery on the long diagonal. Do not touch that knight on f6 if you're Pranesh, unless you're going all the way back to e8, but no one wants that. What do we see now? Maybe bishop to g4? Just trying to trade these guys off.
Difficult to say. This position is shuffled for the last 5 moves. Players
there he goes.
Trying to find their ground here.
Yeah, and what's Bach playing at? He's got rook to e1. Now rook e5. There's queen to b1 check. That doesn't look so great for white. Yeah, Black manages to trade off these light squared bishops. He should be happy here. So there's bishop to e4. Do not take that bishop. We got mate on g7 once again. So queen to h5. Avoiding the blunder is Pranesh.
And now it seems like this light squared bishop is very, very strong in the center.
Yeah, bishop to c2 here for white, but he's kind of leaving his king behind a little bit. Maybe bishop f3, queen h3 can start setting up some mate threats if you're Black. But still gotta like white's position here.
A small king safety concession here in exchange for beautiful diagonals of those 2 bishops. Look at those lasers there. And then the queen and rook igniting on those open files. I love the control for white. And white now has a decisive position, says the engine.
Wow, it's winning for Bach. Can he figure out how to break through?
He sets up the battery on this diagonal.
Queen to d3. That's such an annoying move. He wants to take the knight on f6, and his queen gets right in the face of Pranesh's king. Now, Zach, he's winning again. This time he has a minute and a half to convert. That's lifetimes more than he had in the last game.
Yes.
Now Pranesh is under heavy pressure here. He knows he's in big trouble. I don't see a move here for him. If he moves his knight, it's just queen h7 right away. If he doesn't move the knight, Bach is getting in. There's no bishop to f5. White just takes that one. He's got to find a way to survive here.
Pranesh is completely busted in this position. Can he find a way to weasel his way out? All he needs is a draw. Draw.
Rook t8. I think he's looking to just sacrifice his entire kingside to avoid getting mated. But now Bach is winning. Can trade rooks on e8. And he has queen to d8. Very annoying move for the black pieces to deal with.
He needs to find this idea in order to take a winning role in this game, and he does. He trades rooks.
Now the problem is queen h7 check here is just so tempting, but that's also very good for white. You just get your queen in, and those bishops start lighting up the kingside.
And he plays precisely queen d8.
Oh, he finds the best move. Now he's starting mate in 1. Queen takes knight is checkmate on the board. You can defend the knight with bishop to d7, but then you're just very, very passive, and white can just continue the attack there. Though I don't see such an easy win after bishop to d7.
Both players are taking time here. This might go down to seconds.
Yeah, this is going to come down to the wire. Bach in a must-win situation here to force the Armageddon.
Bishop d5, really nice move. He wants his bishop to d6, checking the king and forcing the king away from the defense of its knight.
And Bach has played this so well. He got the bishop pair right from the opening, and since then, it took a lot of time, but he's managed to.
Oh, he has a crushing move. F5. What a move.
F5.
Oh my goodness.
Breaking the connection between the bishop and the queen. Now, if black takes with the bishop, there's bishop d6 check, and it's all over. You're losing a piece. But the bishop on d7 is hanging. The queen has no moves. How does Pranesh defend this at all?
Everything is loose on the board for the black pieces as white might clinch victory and force Armageddon.
We saw Pranesh glancing over at the times there, but Bach has more than enough time to convert this. He's such a fast player. Queen to g4, looking for just some vague checks, but I think white can just take on d7.
There's no checks. You can just take the bishop
just
and it's completely winning.
We saw what Pranesh, though, did with the extra piece in the last game, but this one, it just looks completely over. There's queen to e2, just the last-ditch effort. White now just has to avoid a perpetual. I like bishop to d6 to start. But now what to do? Bishop on c2 is hanging.
Queen e7. Wow. And now the trade a pair of minor pieces.
But 24 seconds for Bach. Does he have enough time to convert this? It's completely winning, but it's not like you can just pre-move this out.
Bach does not have extra time on his clock. He has 21 seconds for the rest of this game from this position.
Pranesh now going into full flagging mode. Can he avoid losing this? Bach, 20 seconds to convert this.
A draw is not enough for Bach. He could repeat moves right now, but he won't do that because he would simply lose the match.
No, he's got to win this. He's got to win this. Now he's trying to get the king in order to attack. Pranesh is saying, come and get me. I'm not going to make this easy for you. Oh, but he trades queens
by fours, and now he gets a winning endgame.
Oh, that's huge. This is pre-move territory. 12 seconds for Bach to win this. G5, he's breaking through.
We're going to see pre-move after pre-move. This king is coming in and winning this pawn on g6. White is up a full piece in this endgame. Can he make it in 9 seconds?
Oh, this is all over. Bach's mouse skills put to the test.
And he wins 2 more pawns.
Look at those pre-moves.
He's queening. Does he have time to win this game?
Oh, he's so fast. Don't stalemate.
No stalemate.
Oh, he finds it. He found it.
My
3
goodness,
seconds and he wins.
What a clutch victory.
Unbelievable performance there by Benjamin Bach. You can see it on his face. All the adrenaline rushing to his head right now. And he just took this match to Armageddon.
Absolute madness on the board as Benjamin Bach does the job for MDG1.
Wow, what an insane comeback. Honestly, very nice game there from Bach. He's maybe a touch worse there in the middle game, but he always kept his dynamic chances. He kept that bishop pair. He did exactly what he needed to do to win that one.
And now we have an Armageddon tie break.
Now the players here are going to be bidding. Zach, do you want to explain the bidding process here for our viewers that are seeing their first Armageddon?
Both contestants bid a certain amount of time on their sheet of paper, and whoever has the most amount of time will not have the white pieces. Am I correct?
That is right. Yeah, whoever bids lower will get the black pieces and draw odds in this crucial Armageddon game. So far, we've seen 2 wins for white. So we might see these guys bidding a little bit higher in order to get that white advantage.
Strategy is everything here as we get to the final game of
now the referees are checking their bids. They want to see who's bidding lower. So far, what we haven't seen is 2 players bid the same amount of time, which has happened in the history of chess. I think they then go to a tie-break bid, just bid again and go from there. And here we go. The players are about to find out what color they're playing with. We'll see if we can read their expressions. Hard to tell who gets white, who gets black, but now they're going to be thinking about what happened in those last 2 games. How can they improve for this final Armageddon?
Who do you have as your favorite coming into this tiebreaker, Kostya?
I mean, as usual, it feels like the one that won the second game has that psychological edge, but that hasn't always been the case. Sometimes the player that wins the first game calms back down. Pranesh looked really good in that first game. So honestly, it could go either way. I'm very curious to see what kind of bids we end up getting here, because that'll be very much determining who has to go all out for the win.
How about that Benjamin Bach, though, a little bit worse out of the opening and into the middle game, and then just finds a way to weave a mating net onto that Black King and eventually find success.
And there we go. We see the bids there. Pranesh bid 6 minutes and 58 seconds, which means that he will likely be getting the black pieces with this amount of time. Just under 7 minutes, Bach will have white once again, and Bach is again in a must-win situation.
And we are moments away from starting this tiebreak. I'm so excited. That last game was incredible fireworks.
We get another Armageddon here on the Stream B Battleground. Who would have thought that we get another Armageddon? I would have never predicted that.
They should rename our stream to Stream Armageddon.
And look at this. We see another English. Bach, though, switching it up with an early A3. And Pranesh says, you know what? You're not advancing that B pawn. A5. Find another plan, buddy.
There you go. We have a repeat opening. Same match situation. Everything on the line for Bach, but this time, if he wins, he cancels out the match. He wins the match. He eliminates Pranesh.
Yeah. Now, this, I got to say, was a bold bid by Pranesh, because he just lost this game with Black when they had equal time. Now, he's got 3 minutes less, and he has to not lose this game. He has to hold. Maybe he's thinking about the fact that Bach has been in time trouble both of these games. He seems to be the faster player of the two. And wait, Pranesh, did he just blunder?
He blundered the pawn?
He gave a reaction there. I don't know if that was a blunder or a mouse slip, but he pushes his pawn to d5, and now white is just winning a pawn if he takes.
And it's not any pawn. It's a very valuable central pawn.
Oh, this is not a good look for Pranesh right now. He's about to be down 2.5 minutes and a full pawn. But c takes d5. Why didn't he take with the knight? Now knight e7. This pawn is kind of hard to hold on to. He can go e4, but then it kind of creates some weaknesses for white.
Knight takes pawn was just a clearly better move, instilling a knight in the center of the board while taking a pawn, but now it seems the pawn is a little bit weak.
I guess knight takes d5. Maybe there was some e4 push that annoyed Bach. He didn't want to deal with this one. But yeah, queen to b3. Now I think like Black actually does have some real compensation here.
And the question remains, will white be able to hold on to that pawn in the center there?
You know, even if he does hold on to the pawn, it feels like Black has enough dynamics in the position with the dark squares. He can bring his knight around to d6, the blockading square. It seems like this blunder kind of worked out into an interesting sacrifice for Pranesh. Sometimes that happens in chess.
And white king is still in the center. I guess that was the cost for taking that pawn. Your king stays in the center, remains quite weakish, even though the position is quite close still.
Yeah, now white needs a couple moves here to develop, giving Black time for maybe like b6, bishop to b7, bringing the bishop to the long diagonal. Looks to be a very potential play here from Black. But no, Pranesh goes full pawn sacrifice. He's saying c6, and he's sacrificing another pawn. He's giving up queen takes b7. That pawn looks way too dangerous for white to take.
What happens if I take that pawn? Am I in trouble?
Think so. I don't think you want to allow rook to b8 followed by rook takes b2. So Bach just calmly drops back. He says one extra pawn is enough. Go ahead and recapture on c6. I'll play with my extra pawn. But a lot of open lines for the Black piece. Look at this. Pranesh says,
wow.
No, thank you. I've got better things to do than win back this pawn.
You have a weaker pawn on b2 I want to attack right now.
Yeah, you take on b7.
No, you take on b. No, you take. No, you take.
Look at this. I mean, he could take on b7. I mean, that's a tempo against the rook. At that point, Black will have to take back. Then it'll just be ridiculous to leave that pawn on the board.
And how about this advantage in development for Pranesh? He has basically all his pieces out except that rook on a8.
Yeah, I do love this change of style from Pranesh. You can tell in that last game, he was trying to just keep it solid, defend. That didn't work out for him as Bach eventually managed to squeeze him with the bishop pair. Here, Pranesh is saying, you know what? We're going to play this game on my terms. I'm going to sack material. I'm going to force you to play accurately, defending it's my initiative, force Bach to spend some time. I think it's a very practical choice from Pranesh, unless he loses. And then I'm going to say he should have been solid.
No, tremendous point you just made there. In game 1, Pranesh was really good under that activity, that piece activity that we didn't see in game 2, and he was punished for not having that very same piece activity. So this type of position is definitely in his favor coming into this middle game.
Now bishop to e2, Bach desperately trying to get his king out of safety as Pranesh finally recaptures that pawn on c6. Now he's pushing a4, so it's just one pawn down for black, but he's got oodles of positional compensation here. He's got this open d-file. He's got knight to a5, aiming at that b3 square, looking to win the exchange. And yeah, white's got some issues to figure out.
I have to pause you there for a second. Oodles? What does that mean?
He's like a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot.
Very nice term.
Yeah, you got oodles of noodles.
Oh, I'll keep that in the memory bank for next time.
Now, speaking of a lot, can white just grab this pawn on a4? Knight takes a4 with a tempo on the queen.
Ooh,
snack on a little
a4. Snack
little
on a little
pawn
there, huh? Little yummy. Of course, black is threatening to sweep in on that b3 square, but it's not in time. That queen on b6 is hanging first.
And he does take, but after queen to c6, then knight will be under attack. White will have to do something about that knight. Okay, he goes queen a7 instead. I'm not sure I get this one, but he is
black
still
is preparing
threatening.
this knight to sweep into b3 and attack all 3 white pieces at the same time.
Knight b3 is still a big problem. But at this point, white has 2 pawns up, so even if he gives up the exchange...
Oh, beautiful resource found by Benjamin Bach. Bishop d1, covering everything at once.
But Pranesh sees it coming and immediately bangs out e4, sacrificing another... How many pawns has Pranesh left hanging in this game?
Too many. I can't count that far, Kostya. You know this.
Pranesh, the pawn sack genius here. I mean, this is like his 5th pawn sack of the game. They weren't all accepted, but he's been offering pawn after pawn after pawn. Some of them might have even been blunders. I don't even know at this point.
Pranesh might be the most generous person in the room right now.
Very nice guy, I gotta say. Very chill. So he's saying, here, have another pawn. I want to open up my dark squared bishop. Rook to d8. Black just playing for full activity here. But you can't just keep giving up pawn after pawn. Eventually, white can give up a piece, and he's still going to be up material.
Mind you, the white pieces are already developed. So what are you attacking? What are you targeting? The king is already safe.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like the pieces are quite discoordinated. You know, knight on a4, bishop on d1. These is not where these pieces want to be. But on the other hand, it's a lot of material for white. And if he can somehow stabilize, black's initiative runs out. The computer doesn't think that black actually has enough for the material here. But if we count the material, what's the score right now, Zach? 3 pawns up?
White is up for 3 pawns.
3 pawns up.
It's insane.
But Engine is saying it's close to equal.
That means that black compensates with their piece activity on the board, which is astronomical.
Now there's knight to d4. Bach gives back 1 pawn in order to trade off black's powerful dark square bishop. But now the rook is incredibly active there on d4. Honestly, love how Pranesh has played this Armageddon so far. But we'll see if he can keep it up with the accuracy.
So black wins back a pawn here. Pranesh in the driver's seat, I would say. His pieces are just more active and more influential over this chessboard.
Now, queen is attacked on d2. Jumps out queen to f4. Feels like there's a lot of decent options here for black. Maybe just brings rook a d8. Doubles up on the d-file. There's still knight to b3 he can throw in at any moment. Bishop to c4. A lot of ways to attack white's army. You could choose knight to c4, another move. Looking at that d2 square, perhaps.
d2 square, d1 bishop, a4 knight. All of these pieces and squares look weakened. It looks like white has a disease they need to get rid of.
Now there's a big threat. Rook takes bishop, followed by queen takes knight, winning 2 pieces for black's rook. 2 very active pieces. White definitely has to deal with this one. But if he moves his knight from a4, then his b pawn hangs. So that's not such an easy move for white to find.
It's just a very sticky position. Very, very difficult to navigate for the white pieces, who at least, Benjamin Bach, he has more time on the clock to compensate for that, but he's catching up to Pranesh.
Catching up fast, only 40 seconds. And remember, Pranesh started this game 3 minutes down, which I think his bid was actually very smart. He knows that Bach is going to be spending more time, so he can kind of afford to give him a bit of a handicap to get those coveted draw odds. We remind the viewers, if this game ends in a draw, it is the black pieces played by Pranesh that will advance to the next stage of this round, where the winner will be facing Arjun Erigaisi.
And here I must interrupt. There is A big mistake on the board. Bishop to b3. This last move by the white pieces is not the best move here, and it costs white from a very nice move that black has.
He's allowing knight to d2 with the fork, but I think Bach
and he finds
very much... No, I think Bach was very much intending to allow this. He's not surprised by knight d2 at all. Now, he might have misevaluated something here. Right now, you can't take the rook on f1 if you're black, because then you lose that f7 pawn, and then white is extremely active there. But if black just takes back on e6, the rook is still hanging.
Two pieces are hanging.
The knight is still hanging. Bach might have underestimated this one.
And now two white pieces are under fire. How do you deal with such a situation? It's very difficult.
Now, isn't rook to d1 counterattacking the knight? Then what's black doing there? Queen takes a4. We're taking on d2. Rook to d1, knight to b3.
Knight to b3. Excellent move there.
Oh, that's sick. That might have been what Bach missed.
That double attack.
Oh, and he's just spotted it. You can tell that he's not happy with this position.
Like
There's
his position at all.
Insane how good these guys are. And Pranesh, did he find this? That's really nice. So if rook counterattacks knight on d2, knight drops back to b3. If you trade, knight comes in. There's going to be a fork on e2. That knight for black be hopping.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, the white's knight on a4 is just sitting there like an absolute donkey, just hanging there, waiting to be captured. He might have to just pull this knight back and give up the exchange on f1.
So rook to d1, knight to b3, and if rook takes... Oh, but knight c3 is played. The knight comes all the way back.
I think he has to do this one.
Sacrificing an exchange, but you shouldn't take it.
Oh,
rook to f8 first. Look at that.
Oh, that's way stronger. Just pummeling on that queen. Pranesh has played this Armageddon fantastically well. And now at some point he will take that rook on f1, and then black will just be better. But it's white that has to win this game. Bach is now under 3 minutes.
And the queen's under fire. The rook is under fire. Looking like a dim situation for the white pieces here.
Once again, I love that stylistic change from Pranesh going into this game. He did not want to lose a long game like he did in game 2. He realized that is just not going to work against Bach. Bach's just so fast on low time. The way he was able to convert that with seconds was just masterful. But here it's a very different game. It's white that has been under pressure the entire time, and Pranesh has just been so good with the initiative.
Yeah, white wins. Black will win this exchange here, but the white pieces will have some compensation for it.
Absolutely. He will have 2 pawns, which is a lot of material. The problem for white, though, is that black's rooks in the resulting position are just going to be very, very strong. And now Bach has another issue. He's now a full minute down on the clock. Doesn't have the increment to rely on to save himself. So unless he gets some kind of simple endgame that he can pre-move out to a win, he's in big trouble.
Bach taking a lot of time in these last 3 moves. 1 minute and 15-second turn, 55-second turn. It's not looking good as far as his directness and his confidence coming into this early endgame.
Yeah, he's about to cross under 90 seconds here. Pranesh, nearly twice as much time as his opponent. And we can see Bach very unhappy, but he needs to lock in. He needs to get into bullet mode and start making some moves fast. What does he do? That queen is under attack. Queen to e3?
I don't like the length of this turn for Benjamin Bach. Oh, he plays queen e5, which is a misstep.
Finally, he makes a move.
Now it's completely winning for the black pieces.
Well, f2 is just such a huge target. Rook to d2 is coming. Okay, knight to b5. That was his idea. And now Pranesh.
Black has a fantastic move on the board.
Zach, he pointed. He's like, give me a sec. I got something here. Give me a sec. He's got rook takes e4. He's found it. Look at him bopping. He's going to win this game. Rook e4, and then f2 is hit. If he finds rook e4, it's over.
This is an insane position. 1 move wins for the black pieces. 1 move equalizes, and the rest of the moves lose. Insane.
Yeah, well... Oh, and he
plays
spots it.
He finds
it. He takes f2. Bach was ready. He spotted it as well. But now black is winning. He's got a winning attack.
And now he goes knight e3. Oh, he missed his queen sweeping and taking this pawn on b2, forking this knight.
But knight e3 threads made into on the back rank. I think a very smart choice. Remember, black just needs a draw here He's very much in control. That king for white is in huge danger.
Pranesh up a minute on the clock and up in the position. He
Now
cannot go wrong from here on out.
Knight f1? Knight f1 just threatening knight g3 with a perpetual.
That looks powerful indeed.
He goes knight
to
f5.
f5 with a similar idea. He wants to swoop into g3, royal fork this king and this queen to win the game.
Now white has queen takes pawn on the check, but black sidesteps, and here's the threat is knight g3, knight f1. Either you give the rook or you allow perpetual. Neither is acceptable here for white.
This is really unobvious to defend with 40 seconds on the clock for Benjamin Bach.
Honestly, I don't see how he makes it a game here. I think either he plays for a draw or he loses. There's knight g3.
Comes in.
And knight f1. Why not?
And queen to f4. Really
even stronger.
Nice move.
It's an even stronger move. Threatening a potential mate. Knight f1, double check, queen h2. Oh, and there's Pranesh. He's winning, but he's just threatening the draw. He knows that's all he needs.
He's forcing this repetition because that's all he needs.
Oh,
a
this
draw
is so
wins
smart.
for black, wins the match.
This is so smart by Pranesh.
This is the beauty of
And
Armageddon
he's just gonna force
here.
the repetition.
And it's a force to draw. Pranesh takes this.
Wow. Incredibly well played Armageddon by Pranesh as he advances to the decider match where he will face Arjun Aragaisi to get into the playoffs.
Wow, this means a lot for Pranesh and his team Seoul. Congratulations to him on, honestly, very, very good play. I was super impressed with that first game.
Yeah, I mean, incredible play by both players. Pranesh here winning that first game, Bach winning the second game in style, and then Pranesh. Anna, your thoughts on this match?
Incredible, absolutely mind-blowing. And the fact that Pranesh did that little gesture to us, the audience, he knows that we are watching. He knows that all eyes were on him on that moment, on that critical moment. He knew it, he sensed it, and he plays for us, the viewers, the audience, the fans. And that, I think, is really just a nice touch. Also, the fact that this is going to make his team, Seoul Esports, really happy. And on the other stage, Nihal Sarin for Seoul Esports is just about to beat Wei Yi. So it could be a really good day for Seoul Esports. Good start of the day. This is what Esports World Cup is about. This is all about the clubs, the championship points. The players are here for their own glory, for the individual prizes, but also for the glory of their team. So looking good at the moment for Seoul Esports. And when it comes to these three games that we have seen, Zach, how would you sum up what happened from game one to this final crucial Armageddon?
I loved Pranesh's play all the way through. That game one was so smooth. I mean, he missed this one move out of the opening knight c3 to get an advantage, but other than that, it was a near perfect game from Pranesh. Absolute world class.
Well, there was that bit of a time scramble at the end. You know, Bach was very, very close, but Pranesh got the job done. Dude, I love that finger point from Pranesh when he was like, I'm about, that's going to show up in the highlight reel.
The editors and clippers will have a feast with that one.
What a nice find. No, brilliant Armageddon there from Pranesh, that display. I love that change of style. Again, he gets ground down that second game by Bach, gets black again in that third game, completely switches it up, plays it sharp, and gets the job done.
He got the job done, and we have Ian on stage to talk to the winner of this crucial match, Pranesh.
Pranesh, congratulations on the win. Bit of a roller coaster of a match. Talk us through it.
Yeah, first game I missed this knight c3, but I was fine. Then I just, in the time table I had, I gave him some chances, but okay, I won eventually because he has less time. And second game I just blended this queen d3, queen h7 area. Then it was just losing. He had some 3 seconds to finish the game and he did it. And the next game, I thought that we'd have to play for draw. Yeah? I thought, okay, let's just go for a win, and if I get a draw, then it's fine. Maybe that's how it works for me.
I have to ask, in the Armageddon you sacrificed 3 pawns. The first pawn sacrifice, was it intentional or a mouse slip? What happened there with his d5?
First was just blender, and then second was just, I thought, okay, I gave one, so why not second and third, yeah.
No, that was a cool game. Your team, last time I checked, still at 0 points. Seoul, they need some help in chess. Well, how do you see the chances?
What happened to Nihal? I think it depends on that. I think we will do really well, yeah.
Best of luck, and thank you so much, Pranesh. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Jan, and congratulations to Pranesh for Team is Seoul Esports. Very happy day for Seoul Esports so far because yes, his teammate Nihal Sarin on the other stage at the chess event is winning at the moment against Grandmaster Wei Yi. And as for Pranesh, he is through to the next round, the decider match against Arjun Erigaisi representing Gen G. That match, Pranesh against Arjun, will decide which one of these two grandmasters from India will make it to the playoffs. The stakes could not be higher. $1.5 million is the prize fund here, ladies and gentlemen, in chess at the Esports World Cup in Paris. And Pranesh is one step closer. He just needs one more win to make it to the big field and get a huge chunk of that prize money. And what we're gonna see next is also the same stakes. We are in the knockout stage. No second chances. Our coming up match will feature the youngest participant in the field, 16 years old. Only 16. When I was 16, maybe I don't know, I was drawing, I was like trying to ride a bike. He's 16 and he's playing at the Esports World Cup. His name is Sina Move Ahead, representing Team Stallions. He'll be facing a very experienced Alexei Sarana for Fnatic. That match is all for nothing. The winner moves on, the player will get eliminated and their keys will get crushed. We're gonna go on a short break, but when we are back, that game, that match is coming up next. The 16-year-old against a very experienced grandmaster. See you in just a second.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by Play.
This ain't no regular thing. I came for the ring, you know what I mean. You see my name in the lights, better get right, I'm champion. We book Esports World Cup.
is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by play.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the Esports World Cup. This is chess on the main stage, and for the highest of stakes, $1.5 million is the prize fund and very valuable club championship points for the esports team that our grandmasters here, our heroes, are representing. You see Alexei Serna here representing Fnatic, and 16-year-old Sina move ahead for Team Stallions. It's a best of two. The loser in this match will get eliminated. His key will get crushed, while the winner in this match moves on to face Hans Niemann. That is what's at stake. I'm gonna hand it over to Jan and Kostya to cover the action here on the chessboard.
Thank you so much, Anna. Let's jump right into it, Kostya. What opening is this?
Oh, this is the famous Marshall Gambit, is it not? Played by Serrana with the white pieces, sacrificing a pawn right from the get-go and getting some very funny compensation. He's turning mate in one right now, Jan.
Yeah, this guy Marshall was a creative player. He invented two of my favorite openings, the Marshall Gambit and the Marshall Attack, sacrificing a pawn either way. And this line is considered very, very dangerous for black, but it is very move by move. And Sina move ahead. He's a young guy. He's 16. He likes to play move by move, be very specific. Serrana got caught off guard by this very opening. It cost him the World Cup when he lost a match to Jose Martinez, getting eliminated in the same Marshall Attack. So let's see if he learned his lesson here.
Oh, that's some good insider info. Yeah, I really find this matchup very interesting. Yesterday, Sina move ahead. He lost this incredibly close match where he had mate in 3 on the board, but just not enough time to find it.
Didn't see his 3 moves ahead.
He couldn't see 3 moves ahead, but I was super impressed with his play. Serrana, of course, has been around for several years now. He's really well known in all the Title Tuesdays, the Speed Chess Championships. Jan, your predictions for this match?
I think Serrana should normally be at a small advantage. He's a former European champion, European team champion. He won the first big esports chess tournament we had back in 2023. He's no stranger to the online game, only 26 years old. I don't really have a good read on how strong Sina Movahed is. I know he's had good results online, of course, but he's only 16. We haven't seen him at this level that much yet. So I'll take Serrana, but I have been wrong before.
I would probably also put Serrana at a slight favorite, but yeah, I think for Sina, it's basically his first time here on the big stage, but certainly not his last. I mean, give this kid a year or two, and he could easily be joining the absolute elite when it comes to blitz and bullet chess.
And we should explain what's happening on the board, because queen to d6, he's allowing that bishop to be taken on a5, but that is a trap. So Serrana has done his homework, because if he were to take that bishop, long castle threatens checkmate. Black has no defense against the attack. Sina Movahed smells a rat and goes for a more solid move.
Yeah, I sees that coming, but he's spending a lot of time here out of the opening, indicating that he's not so booked up here as Serrana might be. From what I've seen from Serrana, he's often really well prepared, especially with his favorite 1d4, but now he's also spending some time.
Serrana has been a bit of a guru for me for a while. Often when we have training sessions with the German national team, we don't know what to play against someone. People say, just look up Serrana's Title Tuesday games, especially if it's 1d4 openings. He has a very narrow opening repertoire, but he almost always has a good idea. And this time again, he plays this rare move knight in front of the king and then gives the piece. He's very, very interesting. Chess theoretician, we call it, doing his homework.
Yeah, yesterday we did see Sina get knocked down to this stage by Denis Lazovic. I feel Lazovic and Serrana kind of very similar players, very technical, very fast, and yeah, Sina's going to have his work cut out for him in this first game. Bishop to c3, eyeing that g-pawn, which black cannot allow white to take, as that rook in the corner will then hang as well. But how does he defend against this one?
I guess you bring the knight out, knight to f6, so white will probably castle queenside. creating more of an attack, forcing black to castle queenside as well. And these positions are often white has the 2 bishops and more active pieces. Black is a pawn up. If black can consolidate, he's doing well. But so far, I like Sarana because I think he's still in his book, while Sina has to find his own way here.
Yeah, it seems like white is just getting his moves out very, very quickly here. He just castled queenside. Now he's starting to take that knight on f6, and then the bishop on d7 hangs with check. So black has to figure out how to deal with this threat.
Got a castle. You're allowed to castle if the queen controls the b8 square. The rook is allowed to cross the queen, controlled by the white queen. The king is not.
A lot of people don't know that. There's some stories of players asking the arbiter if they're allowed to castle in certain positions.
Even legends like, I think, Viktor Korchnoi, vice world champion, once had to check with the arbiter. But that is allowed, and Sina Movahed knows the rules of chess exceptionally well.
And Sarana continues to play incredibly fast. Queen to a3, another non-obvious move, indicating that he's still in his opening preparation. King to b7, defending that knight to a6. Now rook to d4, another tempo on the queen. Jan, do you believe in this famous rule? I think Kasparov gave it, that if you attack your opponent's pieces 10 times in a row, they will blunder.
I wasn't aware of that, but he's on a good streak. That queen had to move a lot. And this is what Sarana does. He finds a way to make you walk a narrow path, often in slightly surprising lines with knight to e2. And if you can't walk that path, if you don't know what he's going to do, it's very, very difficult to figure out the way over the board. So far, it looks like Sina's hanging in there.
And b4, another attack. Wait, how many attacks has it been?
Did you count the attacks on the queen?
It was knight to g3. It was queen a3 with tempo. It was rook to d4. It was b4. That's at least 4 attacks in a row. 6 more, and he's winning this game.
More. Now he will slow down a little bit, it looks like. No way to keep chasing that queen. Black is threatening to stabilize by pushing pawn to c5 himself, because then white were forced to react to the attack of the rook. The black piece would come, so probably you want to drop that rook back and slow down a little bit.
Yes, you could go c5 yourself as white attacking that knight, but then you give up the d5 square, yeah?
Yeah, some squares. Knight goes back. Sarana finally thinking, what's his heart rate? 160?
Wow.
Is that a new record? We've seen the 150s.
That's the highest I've seen. Yeah, is Sarana okay? Can someone got to do a wellness check on this guy at some point? Let's keep an eye on that one. That's a very high heart rate. This is our first time, I believe, seeing Sarana on the Battleground stage. And yeah, this is easily the highest heart rate we've seen thus far.
Yeah, only his second match. He lost to Hikaru Nakamura earlier in the tournament, if memory serves.
Yeah.
And now he has to win to earn a date with Hans Niemann. Fight for his tournament life.
Hans likely watching this match so he can anticipate his next opponent, maybe do a little bit of opening preparation before that deciding match later today. And Sarana using his time edge to try and figure out how to proceed. He has taken on a lot of responsibility with the white pieces. He's down a pawn, he's pushed the pawns in front of his king. So if he doesn't continue with some precise play here, black could easily overtake the initiative.
When he goes bishop out, I was wondering if pawn to c5 was a threat, but maybe then the bishop could give a check to the king, so he's trying to stop that in a different fashion.
Yeah, I like this move, bringing the bishop to f3. He opens up his rook to join the play as well. Probably doubling on the d file is in the cards here for white. And Sina moves ahead. Yeah, got his work cut out for him as he tries to figure out how to defend this position.
Good news for black is he's a pawn up, so even if he sits passively, I don't know, manages to exchange all the rooks, bishop back, then take off as many rooks as possible. If nothing direct happens, pawn is a pawn. But practically, of course, it's a bit unpleasant to get ambushed like that.
Yeah, right now, computer's saying bishop c8 is the only move to maintain equality.
The only move, yeah, wow. Yeah.
That's not an obvious choice, but he does find it. He sees that move ahead, and he opens up the rook against the rook on d4. Very quality play there by Sina.
Only 16 years old, our youngest participant. But this guy, it's not like this is his first chess tournament. He's won under 8 championships. I looked it up.
Oh, wow.
So even the 16-year-olds, they normally have 10 years of experience in chess.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we have teenagers that are just in the world's elite at this point. And yeah, I mean, it's the next generation. You know, they're all coming for Magnus's #1 spot.
I don't like it. I don't think you should be allowed to be good at chess before you reach legal drinking age.
That's funny. Yeah, and let's see, Sarana now taking his time, trying to figure out how to deal with this. Bit of a grimace there. Doesn't seem super happy, but
he hit this first serve, but Sina returned it, and now it's Sarana's turn to try to work it out.
Yeah, and he
I don't see anything obvious.
On down. Yeah, I mean, it's like, you could bring the rook to d1, but Black just starts trading, got bishop f3, but then, Black has this threat of rook takes rook, and then maybe taking that pawn on b4 as well. So tactical questions here for Sarana, as he is close to equalizing on the clock. He approaches the 5-minute mark along with his opponent.
Yeah, the most obvious move would be to bring that rook from the corner to the open file, but then Sina can just take the rook in the center, the other rook recaptures, we bring our rook yet again, and exchanges should be alright for Black. But I don't see any particularly tempting alternative right now.
And
there
yeah,
it comes.
There we go. He does play the most natural move. He was looking for something better, doesn't find it, just plays the move on that he would make on autopilot. And yeah, now it seems like Black has a simple choice. I can trade rooks, bring the other rook in. He's up a pawn, so trades are generally going to favor the Black pieces.
There he goes.
There we see it.
Also, more or less completing development, having all the pieces in play. Of course, the knight sitting on the rim is maybe not ideal, but there's nothing fundamentally wrong with the Black position. Looks like he took that early bullet, and maybe Sarana was relying on that, all that rook d4, attacking the queen, f4, b4. Lesser players could have panicked there, but not Sina.
Yeah, he saw through all of the complications, and now he's sitting comfortably with the pawn up, though we should say the engine still thinks White has full compensation for the pawn. White is not really worse here, but in human terms, it's always a bit unpleasant to be a pawn down, because one wrong move, and then you could just be busted.
Yeah, so that computer is a sicko. He's always assuming he plays against himself, and then he can equalize because he's so good at defending positions a pawn down. But for puny humans, that pawn is in the back of your head, and do you want to do something about it?
Yeah, the point of White's play is not to just defend some position and pawn down. He wants some activity. He wants to win the game. He's playing with the White pieces. It's a 2-game match. If you don't put some pressure, if you don't score with White, you're in a lot of danger in that next game, as your opponent can possibly score a point of their own.
That is true. But I always thought winning is best, and second best is probably draw, and losing is really bad. So you can't really push too hard either. If that win is not there, you don't want to lose.
Yeah, exactly. As my coach would say, draw is a normal result.
There's a bit of a built-in problem with chess. That's why we need all these Armageddon. But what can you do? So the position, yeah, Black looks fine. Pawn to b5 is a threat now, exploiting that pin, but the queen can enter. It goes all the way. Could also have gone to d6 pinning, but it goes all the way to d3, allowing pawn to b5.
Yeah, clearly he has something in mind here. Maybe b5, he just drops the knight back to b8. Yeah. As he's seen a move ahead, he's having a full conversation with himself. He's saying some stuff.
I like that he's talking. He was also celebrating yesterday when he was winning, and a bit of fist pumping. I wonder what he's saying, though.
Yeah.
b5, knight b8. Don't forget.
Yeah. But yeah, this queen d3, also an unpleasant move for White. Black has a lot of checks now. Queen to e3 check, kind of lurking in the position. So not the most comfortable spot for White's king. And hence we see king to b2 from Sarana, just avoiding checks.
Why can't I take the pawn? What's going on? Ah, bishop back is his trap.
Ooh, nice
so
trick.
The queen takes the pawn, then bishop e2, and there's Girdle skewer.
And that's just one move ahead, so I think Sina's going to spot that one. He's not going to take on c4. But, Black also has these kind of long-term problems. Bishop on c8, knight on f6. It's hard to move these pieces.
See, I thought I was going to write the Sina move ahead jokes into the ground, but you're really, really giving me a run for the money here.
I'm trying to get at least 50 into today's match. 75 if we hit Armageddon.
Yeah, you can't take the pawn. What do? You could, I don't know, move this horsey back from a6, but he goes bishop to d7, also nice move, keeping an eye on that weak pawn on c6, anticipating the white b5 break.
Yeah, I like this move. Feels very solid as the players approach the 3-minute mark. And now we're about to get a classic Title Tuesday type of game. 3 minutes for each side, though no increment. So if this comes down to the wire, these players are going to have to hunt that flag.
I like Sina's chances right here, right now, not just because of the clock and the extra pawn, but also I think normally, at least the word on the street is young players, maybe strategic weaknesses, maybe not that much experience in the opening. But if you give him an open position, all the pieces are out, an extra pawn, active queen, you can't out-calculate this guy, and you can't out-mouse speed him either. So I like his chances.
Yeah, tactically, he's incredibly gifted. Though I've seen Serrana just play so fast in these scrambles. I really feel like, especially given his experience, that he is not an underdog, I would say, when it comes down to it.
No, he's very fast as well. The pawns. Missing one.
Yeah, still.
Knight e2.
Down that pawn. If the queens come off, all of a sudden...
passive.
Yeah, black's position becomes really nice. But yeah, how to activate for black. If you move that knight on f6, well, there he goes. Knight to e4. Serrana not happy with that move.
What is going on? Can we take the pawn? There's a pawn in the black camp. I would like to eat. Bishop takes.
Bishop takes g7. Maybe there's a queen d2 check.
Yeah,
maybe knight.
queen.
No, queen's hanging on d3. So 2.
King somewhere. I'm sure Sina has something in mind.
Yeah,
I don't see
absolutely.
it yet.
Now Serrana's trying to figure out if this is a bluff or if he needs to respect his opponent's play. But now black is a just strategic threat, right? Take that bishop on c3.
You need to take that guy. Also, you're a pawn down, so you're incentivized to restore the material balance, even if it looks a little scary.
Oh, it's
Now?
Sina. He gives the 1 second. He does the Pranesh.
Let me calculate for a second here.
One moment. Who is this for? No one. You can take all the time you want. Knight d6.
You don't have to ask for permission to think, Sina.
Yeah.
Knight to d6 played.
Oh, that's
This
annoying.
is scary. The king on a3 and the Sina knight's jumping. He might be threatening knight b5 check.
Right.
Luring
Knight
that king
b5. Oof.
into the danger zone.
That is very scary for white. Though I don't quite see the threat if he plays knight to b5. Incredibly scary, but it is a piece.
Maybe the king can sit on a4, but are you happy? And also, to defend with little time is so much harder than to attack or to pretend I want to go knight b5. But Serrana has to calculate, make sure he's not losing there. While Sina can say, okay, I was just kidding, I'll play some other move, don't worry.
Yeah, in the meantime, okay, and here we go. Serrana asks, are you
saying,
really going to go knight b5?
Show me the horsey.
Yeah, I don't see it, so maybe just knight f5. He can just say, all right, you called my bluff.
Yeah, you can make any move, but how do we make progress?
Yeah, also the knight on d6 is defended.
He's asking for a second again.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
You got time, Sina? 2 minutes?
Problem. Yeah. Is there someone next to him that's saying move? what's
Looks
happening?
like we need the stage. The rainbow people, they want more stages.
Here we go. And yeah, look at his eyes just darting all over the board.
So tempting to sacrifice that knight, but it might not work. So you give the knight, the pawn takes it, give a check with the other knight, the king steps forward. But you can't really catch it there, king.
Yeah, the issue is you would love to follow up with c5, right? Opening up the light square bishop,
King
but it's
c8,
pinned.
classy
And
little
king
move.
c8.
The
Now
first
I think
computer
he is
choice saying-
setting it up, yeah?
Are you sure I'm not threatening it now that I unpinned my c-pawn? That's why the king goes out of the way, very subtle stuff. And Serrana's not taking chances, he eliminates that knight instantly.
I think that's a smart choice. I don't think you can let knight b5 check hanging over you like that. And yeah, now he brings back the king, queen d2.
So now we have equal pawns, but white had to give up his trump card, the bishop pair.
On the other hand, long term, right, this kingside structure feels like it favors white's pieces, especially that light squared bishop for white.
That's very long term. Mid-term, the king on b1 feels a little less secure than the king on c8. No, e5,
And there's
preparing
e5.
bishop f5.
Oh, love this for Sina.
I'm still team Sina.
No, this is really scary for white. Now he's saying he's not getting mated here, but there's a lot of checks for black. Oh, knight e6, the knight joins the attack as well.
Pieces. Wow.
But now it's Serrana that's a pawn up, and it's up to Sina to prove the compensation.
I believe that king is still weak.
Oh, c5, that's a nice move. d5, you gotta keep it closed, I guess, but the king does not feel comfortable there on a3.
Not at all. And
Bishop d5, computer hates this move.
Yeah, it's so hard to defend. Bishop to d5.
But what's the win?
Do we punish?
40 seconds for Sina, he smells a rat.
Takes, queen d3 check, knight c3, knight c5, just...
Oh, this looks painful
Piece
for white.
maxing. Now, yeah, pawn to a5 is in the air, distracting that queen. Serrana retreats, queen b2.
Bishop
Sina is saying
e6.
just long term, you don't have coordination, there is this pin.
Look how strong Black's pieces are. It's
a good feel
completely
for
winning
dynamics.
for Black.
Especially
Wow.
6. Yeah, this is
30 seconds for Serrana to save this, but this is looking bad.
This trouble, both sides down to very, very little time. Queen to d4 looks a bit random. What was that move?
Not sure, but he's got no time to look for the win. He's just got to play fast here.
Looks like he's trying to speed up, but that was a bit weird reshuffling because the queen was so well placed. Well, now white at least survives for the moment.
Tina here spending time. He's looking for that kill, but needs to speed it up. 20 seconds for both players. Knight C5.
Another kill. Queen
C5.
C5. Yeah, looked like he had knight C5 check. But it looks like Sina is focused on the clock now. Doesn't have time to calculate anymore. But A5 check picks up a piece.
King runs. King is running forward.
He has to give the queen.
Queen. His king was getting needed. No, it's all over.
This is it.
Now it's all about the clock he takes.
Anna still trying to flag, but there is more than enough.
No chance. And Sina takes the first game with Black. A vicious time scramble. Jan, you were completely right. That 1 minute game was all Sina.
That 16-year-old, I'm not sure it was because Sina is so good, but also he had the initiative. If you have the safer king, even if they don't both play perfectly, white just has much more chances to mess up the game. Well, if Sina doesn't make the best move, game continues and there's more tricks. Serrana not happy.
Yeah, look, he's looking through the game and he's just distraught. I mean, he never really had an advantage in that game. It was always just kind of equal, and then his position started to collapse.
Yeah, he showed his preparation, got ahead a little on the clock, but Sinamova had reacted very, very carefully. It took 2 minutes to neutralize the idea, which is also very impressive in itself to neutralize an ambush with that little time. That kid is confident, he's fast, he's emotional. Now all he needs is a draw to prolong his tournament life and crush Alexei Serrana's key.
You can see Serrana there, very disappointed with that first game. Like you said, you never want to lose, but especially with the white pieces, because now he has to strike back with black. Sina just needs to make a draw, and we haven't seen him in this position yet, where he just needs to make a draw in order to win the match. A bit nervous there. He's spilling water all over the keyboard.
That's all right. No one's watching. This is the B stream. You're in good hands here, Sina. But no, he does get nervous, and why wouldn't you at this stage? We've seen it against Denis Lazovic, where he had the mate in 3, played a beautiful game. But then also nerves got the better of him.
And look at Serrana. His heart rate was up to 175 beats per minute.
This is not healthy anymore.
No, still reeling from that last time scramble. I mean, that's red zone territory. That's really quite serious. And there we go. He's playing the Sicilian. Serrana must-win situation.
So-called Grand Prix attack, which every advanced beginner in chess has at some point asked, I want to have something fresh against the Sicilian. What about the Grand Prix attack to surprise all my opponents with the surprise weapon everybody else plays as well? But of course, Serrana has a point. He goes bishop b5 check. This is the line that Pragnananda used in the candidates to defeat Anish Giri, so this has been played at the highest of levels recently. It's a rare choice from Sina in a draw is enough situation, I would say. But maybe he's decided, you know what? It's not really my style to sit passively. I'll go all out.
Yeah, I think he's just sticking to his usual stuff. I'm sure he plays all kinds of things against the Sicilian. This is a very sharp choice, and yeah,
it's a pawn.
Maybe a surprise for Serrana specifically. They did have time to prepare for this match. They knew the matchup they were going to get, and yeah, thematic pawn break here from white, playing f5, hoping that black takes a second time. Of course, he's not going to. And open up his king like that. And yeah, I gotta think if you're Serrana here, I mean...
You can't be more happy. Such an unbalanced position that is also fine with black after 8 moves. Like, this is... I understand that. I think you're right. Sina's just sticking to what he prepared. But in a draw is enough situation, most people would have done something drier. But that's also...
Yeah, but yeah, it doesn't suit his style. And I think Serrana, you know, of the two, definitely the better kind of positional technical player. So stylistically, I feel like it's a good choice. But well, we'll see how the game goes. Yesterday, we saw Noterbeck completely shut Duda down with the white pieces, playing the C3 Sicilian.
That could be the difference between H21 and H16. Like, he hasn't been in that many draw is enough situations. Well, the veterans of these formats, they've been in plenty. You lead 1-0, draws enough. You're an Armageddon with black, draws enough. Well, Cena, I think, is just pushing for the win every game.
Serrano here stabilized to a cool 150 beats per minute. Honestly, I'm surprised that these guys aren't constantly at this heart rate. I mean, they have to move so quickly. Their brain is moving 1,000,000 miles per minute. But Cena here, he's very chill, 95.
Looks like less pressure on him. His key is safe, at least for this very game. He could lose and he would still get an Armageddon. The position, bishop to b5, I like black's setup generally because he does have the center, brings the knight out now. The question is what to do with his king, because if he were to castle kingside as you usually do, then you're missing one pawn, covering your majesty, and
long think there from Serrano after knight f6. And Cena, I saw he's looking up in the air like he's trying to remember his preparation.
Also, knight f6 looks slightly strange, at least to my eyes. The knight to e7 looked more harmonious, leaving that bishop open on the long diagonal and supporting the other knight. So knight to f6, typical square, but not here necessarily.
Yeah, so far this opening has worked out beautifully for Cena. He's got an edge on the board, but of course Serrano is the one in the must-win situation. So as long as the game stays complicated, he's got to be okay with his chances thus far.
I think he's going for queenside castling. He wants the kings on opposite sides of the board to create more tension. Typically, if kings aren't on the same side of the board, it means either side can attack the other king, leading to sharper and more decisive games. But objectively, he might be paying a bit of a price for it.
Trades on e6. I feel like it's often time for this queen e1, this classic maneuver in the Grand Prix. Trades on c6 as well. Interesting choice.
Might have something direct on his mind. Bishop recaptures would look normal, but then maybe the knight can jump, attacking that e6 pawn, which typically is not a good idea, sending that knight on a solo mission. But here with the black king in the center, I don't know. Feels a little suspect for Alexei Serrano.
For sure. Cena now 2 minutes up on the clock so far. He's done very well in this deciding game. Once again, anything short of a win and Serrano is out of the competition. While Cena will move ahead, and we know who's waiting for him on the other side of this match is Hans Niemann.
You're trying to sneak in a new version. Cena will move ahead.
I didn't even catch that one myself.
Bishop takes c6. Yeah, Alexei Serrano can recapture 3 ways, but doesn't look like any is particularly tempting. Pawn takes is just ugly. Queen takes allows the knight to jump to e5, so bishop takes is the most natural, and that's what he does. But you have to think about the knight jump, knight to g5.
Knight g5, there's rook e1, queen e2, many ways to attack this e-pawn. Knight g5 definitely looks like the most annoying, because you can't just castle your way out of this, right? You got to defend.
You're happy giving up that pawn, but now if you castle straight into the knight fork, that's too much.
What do you do if you defend the pawn with your queen? Knight takes anyway, and then there's going to be rook to e1 to pin.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's the end of the story. Like queen e7, knight takes e6, queen takes, rook e1, and then we put our own knight in the way. Maybe that's sort of playable, but certainly scary for Alexei Serrano.
To me, bishop to d7, just going back, looks more solid.
So sad too, though. And
there's also bishop f4 that white has opened up with this last move. So the bishop can come out and target that queen. Always nice to develop with tempo. Serrano here spending time. He's already 3 minutes down.
This is not great. He had to take chances, but I think he did. This knight to f6 move looked so strange.
Wow, and he's found queen to e7. Cena here maybe thought that move wasn't really so good, but knight takes e6. As you mentioned, he can just take back, rook pins. Black gives back the knight, but will be able to develop and complete his castling.
But we don't have to take either. We can just put the queen somewhere, e1, e2, as you mentioned. Keep hitting that pawn.
It's a big choice for Cena here. He's taking some time in order to figure out exactly what to do. He knows, can sense this is a critical moment.
What's he looking at? Is he even looking at the screen?
I feel like his eyes are like on Black's back rank right now.
Yeah.
Looking very high up. Staring at the king. And he gets back into playing position. His hand is back on that mouse.
My money is on queen to e2.
Queen e2. Feels like, yeah, most human move here.
Connect the rooks, attack that pawn, ask Sarana question. That pawn advances, it leaves some more holes in the black camp. But looks like he's unhappy about something.
Unhappy?
He goes rook to e1, interesting. Removes the rook from one open file to put in another one.
Bishop d7 quick there from Sarani.
Covers the pawn. What else is there?
Now maybe queen f3. Just keep developing your stuff. But Black is ready to castle queenside, and then there's a lot of open files against White's king. I'm starting to like this for Black.
Yeah, or even kingside. If the king escapes and nothing hits him in the center, then all of a sudden Black is very much back in business, because Sina took some strategic chances, gave up his bishop on c6 to win some time with knight g5, rook e1. So he has to cash in on it now. Go crazy. Go, I don't know, knight to b5, bishop to f4. This is a normal developing move, but that should allow Sarana to bring his king to safety. Yeah, that's what happens. Short castles.
I do like this. Maybe we'll see bishop to e5, just kind of neutralizing Black's dark squared bishop. All Sina needs is a draw here, so he doesn't have to go all out for the win. If he can stabilize with a nice middle game position here, he should be happy with his chances.
Yeah, he's still alright, but I feel like he was looking for the kill, and now he gave Sarana an unbalanced fighting position. But yeah, he's stabilized, adjusted, brought this bishop there, switched to positional game, occupying that central square. Now, as long as he can stop the black bishop pair from activating, neutralize the one bishop with his own bishop, and that other bishop is still locked in by the pawns, he should still be alright.
Yeah, but if you're Sarana here, I think, yeah, this game could have gone a lot worse for you. He is down 1.5 minutes on the clock. And as we saw in the last game, you know, it feels like Sina was maybe a touch more comfortable. Look at that. Bishop takes f6, gives up the bishop for the knight.
Yeah, Sarana pushed his pawn, vacating that square in the center where the white knight just jumped. And this is an interesting situation. Normally you want the bishop pair against the knight pair, but the knights have this very nice outpost there in the middle. And also, how do you cover all your pawns here? If the queen goes back to cover the pawn c5, there's some attacking moves like queen to h5, looks a bit scary. Sina switching to direct head-to-head combat here.
Feels like queen to g6, keep an eye on the knight on g5, but then like queen to g4, and well, I don't know about that one. There's h6.
Or maybe we can just take the pawn on c5 even then, because also hitting the bishop.
Oh, it's true.
That's probably what they're calculating right now, like queen there, knight takes pawn, bishop c6, and all kinds of messes. I don't know.
But yeah, it doesn't feel like the knights are any worse than the bishops in this structure. Both bishops there are just kind of restricted. Does find queen to g6.
Queen there played.
And Sina not happy with this one. Maybe he thought this wasn't possible. What does Sarana have in mind? Knight takes c5, he grabs a pawn, hits the bishop on d7. Bishop to c6, the bishops come alive, and yeah, if you're Sarana...
Also, that knight would end up deep in enemy territory. Maybe if knight takes pawn, then queen takes the other knight, knight takes, and maybe we can just hit it and trap it, like rook to f7 or rook to d8. Not sure it escapes from there.
Knight c5
maybe that's
here.
what he missed.
Yeah, it might be a blunder. Yeah, his knight gets trapped. He's a bit puzzled by this. But his position still feels solid. He's got this beautiful knight on e4. If he has to move back knight f3, I don't think that's the end of the world. Maybe rook f1 now, just try to fight back on the f file.
His problem is he has too many knights. He would love to exchange one of the knights, put the other on e4, but he has two of them. So it's this, what he calls the superfluous knight situation. The horse here on g5 looks a little out of it. Queen e2, trying to stabilize.
Now h6. No, it starts with the bishop.
Also fine.
Sina leans back. He's still very, very calm here. 100 heartbeats per minute. Sarana at his usual 150.
150 is very low for Sarana.
And Sina just moves back knight f3. Doesn't wait for h6. trying to stabilize here, but
it's a bit passive.
Yeah.
A bit passive. Sina just now switching to draws enough. Maybe don't need to go too crazy, because so far the game he's played very aggressively. Now he's retreating, but if Serrana can build up the rook, other rook comes. Such a quality player, typical. Extremely well-educated technician. You don't want to give these guys the 2 bishops in time.
Yeah, a lot of ways for this to just go very wrong here for white. Both bishops potentially very strong. That dark square bishop can move out to h6, eventually land on that e3 square. Light square bishop is a fantastic piece for black.
Even the powerful knight on e4 already has to move back. Maybe he's trying to reorganize, put that one there and the other, go to d2 and e4, but it all looks...
Yeah, knight d2 does seem like the plan. Otherwise, black builds up rook f8, and this knight on f3 is a huge target.
Yeah, maybe once knight e5, hitting the queen, jump into the middle of the board there. But that bishop black has on d5 is so strong now, keeps an eye on the white king, holds everything together in his own camp. All the pieces are at full capacity now. This looks very, very good for Serrana.
Yeah, definitely great practical chances here.
Oh, the other bishop could come, as you mentioned. There it comes.
There's bishop h6. But white stabilized knight on e4, but how stable is it? c4. Oh, that's a strong move.
Some break will come. No c4 or the other bishop goes into e3, then h5, h4. Magnus Carlsen said, I don't believe in fortresses. I think he had a point.
Yeah, absolutely. Sina still has the edge on the clock. That might be what is able to save him in this game. But right now, Serrana is doing extremely well on the board. Can he keep it up, try to maintain his pressure? I think this h5 plan you mentioned has got to be key in order to destabilize the knights.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, time to move. Serrana, a bit of frustration there. I think
players with a hand gesture, I don't know what to do.
Maybe looking for some kind of concrete win, but it's too early. He needs to just keep building up. 5. That stabilizes the rook, but now the bishop on d5 maybe hangs in some positions.
Yeah. takes.
Rook f1 probably, yep.
Sina not worried about exchanges, but Serrana saying, you know what, give me a pawn. And at least I have something to work with.
Yeah, now a lot of endgames are just going to be completely winning for black. But knight h5, can white generate some play with the knights? g3, nah, that's not a move you want to play against that bishop on d5.
Sometimes it happens, very frustrating. You're trying to defend your king, bring all the pieces over, and they just take one pawn on the other side of the board, exchange everything, win an endgame. Very tough. You have to keep all these 64 squares in mind all the time. I think Sina was focused on the 10 squares there around his king. Then the a2 pawn just disappeared.
Yeah.
I don't see anything direct. g3 feels wrong. Probably have to take one of the bishops and try to hang in there.
Yeah, knight takes f4 possible, but then black recaptures a bishop on d5, still just glaring down against the white king.
Sina catching up on the clock. Yeah, he also doesn't find anything else but taking that bishop.
Now
how do we recapture pawn takes? Yeah, makes sense as well, because I think the black rook has a little more scope than the white one. Making a luft, pawn to h3.
On b6, just a cool improving move from Serrana.
Quality move, saying, I'm not in a hurry, I'm just giving myself some space.
Queen f5, king h2. Sina switching to bullet mode, starting to just improve his position.
Too early, Sina, it's too early. Serrana still has 130. Guy is not slow.
Yeah, meanwhile, Serrana looking to really improve his chances. And he trades on e4, goes for the heavy piece endgame.
Like it. This looks clean. Serrana's very clean technician. He's a pawn up. He has the passed pawn, and the pawn on e4 is very weak. He's looking for a position where he can make moves quickly. His king will go to h8. Then he can push his pawns, a5, b5, a4, b4. Try to generate one more passer. And white should collapse. I think Serrana's got this.
Yeah, there's one check for white on g4, but no real follow-up without him being able to get his rook in.
Just as I gave this beautiful speech, I glanced at the computer and said 0-0, rook b3, you idiot. The computer was not impressed. Over the board, it still looks terrible.
It's difficult to find, yeah. And you know, both sides made a couple moves here, and all of a sudden, Black's advantage is growing. I think you're right. Just practically, it seems much easier for Black to
put
play.
The king there and you push. Well, Cena has to find an idea. But
he's straight too far. There's going to be F3 opening up the king.
Yeah. Okay, he's trying to activate his own queen. Now what do? You could push the A pawn. White would take, and then go B3, trying to create another passer. Goes B3, which looks weird.
Starts with B3. Bit of a strange one for me.
Looks like playing the second move first, because normally you want to go A3, get the white B pawn out of the way. Instead he goes B3 and takes the pawn in the center.
Now he's starting queeny one check, winning the rook, but a lot of ways for White to deal this one. Queen A5, Queen B4. Queen A6?
Hang on, no, he wants to
F6
counter
check.
with the queen check he's trying.
Wow.
Confuse the issue.
Wow. Yeah,
So
no reaction
tricky.
from Cena there, so definitely an intentional move.
Off the blunder. Check. You cannot take the rook because black queen would be missing defense. But he gives a check, and then I guess he wants to sidestep with his own rook. Rook to E8 or rook to C8.
Queen
What's that double
F6.
attack?
Rook to D1. Cena still everything under control. He's defending this fantastically thus far, but still heavy pressure. White is basically just one mistake from losing this. That might have been it.
Just as you said it.
Oh, but Serrano doesn't
Here comes
find the most...
pawn, but rook E1 check was not
way.
it. Yeah, now his king is so exposed that his white queen has so much scope there to give checks. I don't think you have time to push your D pawn up the board. Get a second queen. He's trying.
But he tries it, but this looks like perpetual city.
Yeah,
Cena.
how do you escape? The queen should stay close. Queen D5 doesn't allow that king to cross.
Take on D2. Maybe Queen
then
D3 check
F3
first.
check. Maybe you throw in a check first. Yeah, that's what he does.
Now he takes, and
this should be it.
think
There's
he's
not
saving.
enough left for Serrano to work with. It's 30 seconds versus 20. Can he flex Cena? I doubt it.
now that would take some incredible mouse skills here. Cena not flinching, not offering the queen trade. Queen F4. There is Queen C2 still in that position, so the B pawn here for Black. Definitely something to work with. Cena panicking. He doesn't want to take this pawn. Allow Queen to C2.
Oh, and he's behind on the clock.
Oh, needs
12
to move.
seconds versus 15. Now flagging is very much in the card.
Oh, this could go either way. And it's only
this
Black
only
that
goes
can win
one way.
this. C2, Serrano, he's playing
Cena
quick.
blinked there for a minute. You could see these 10 seconds running down. Now he will lose.
Does Serrano have enough time to convert? 2 seconds for Cena. Serrano's winning. He's
Serrano
winning
has
on
more
the clock.
queens, so both queens were hanging there for a second, and Alexei Serrano with 2 seconds flags Cena. Overhead forces Armageddon.
What a scramble. And Cena is just furious with himself. He played that one way too slow. He needed to keep more time on the clock. He was completely fine there in the queen end game. But
I think he had a blackout for like 10-15 seconds. He had 30 seconds, and then there was his unexpected problem, this queen c2, and he just spent all his time, and then he lost the flagging battle.
just totally lost control over the clock. And now you can see all the emotions on his face. Needs to recover here as the players will be asked for their bids for the Armageddon.
What do you think is in his drink?
Maybe some Gatorade, some Powerade. No, it was water, right?
Electrolytes?
We saw the water.
It's just
Still
water.
over there.
Yeah. Alexei Serrano, the veteran. Although he's only 26, I think in chess terms we can call him a veteran, submitting his bid.
Seven. Ready with his bid.
7:29.
29. We'll see.
I don't know, I'm making stuff up. I didn't see anything. Cena's fast.
But Serrano in that last game, just faster. Just kept his nerves under pressure.
Yeah, I don't think there was a mouse skill situation. All these guys are incredibly good down to 10 seconds, but I feel like it was this one moment where Cena panicked a little bit.
Surprise, surprise. We're going to see another Armageddon in the Qiddiya City Battleground stage as the referees show the players for their bids. Understanding you're playing white, you're playing black. And we'll see no reaction. It's always so hard to tell whether they won the bid or lost.
I don't think there's winning or losing. Like, you define what you think is the break-even point, and then you accept the outcome.
Yeah, but there's always a bit of questioning. You know, if your opponent bids 2 minutes above you, you're like, oh, I could have had an extra minute and a half.
Yeah, of course. You feel a little silly. But I'm still thinking, you should just always bid 7:30, have your opponent decide. You can't be too upset.
Yeah, now in this match, it was Black that won both games.
What's Cena doing? He's calculating? E4, E5.
Looking at maybe he's got White again. He's trying to figure out if he should revisit this opening, how he can improve on it.
Now he gets White again. It's a very different spot. Now they must win, not a must draw. Frankly, he played the second game like it was a must win as well, at least the opening. But here we see Cena overhead, 738. That is the lower bid. He gets the black pieces. Around at 755, that's sort of a high bid, maybe indicating he's comfortable playing with White.
Yeah, it looks like Saran did not want to give up too much time to take the black pieces here, so he gets White. Cena move ahead gets Black, and the draw odds. The winner of this game advances to the next round, where they will face Hans Niemann in order to get into the playoff stage. And we are just about to get underway. Serrana now slightly elevated heart rate, 160 for his usual standards. Man.
This is the second most exciting discipline in all of sports. Armageddon chess. Second only to sudden dash dodgeball, if you ask me. But that's not part of the EWC. Alexis Harana with the white pieces has to win. Don't be fooled by the clock. Cena will get less time than that.
And we're just about to get started, and there we go, D4. Serrano White, a repeat of game one. Will he go for the martial attack once again?
Looks
He's
like
thinking about it.
Sort of lost the opening battle in the end in that first game. Cena's happy to get some repeat action here with pawn to e4, and Alexa Rana saying, no, thank you. Pawn to e3, this time we shall play a longer game.
Yeah, much calmer, the so-called Semislav Moran system.
It's a bit counterintuitive, because you would think in a must-win situation you want as sharp as possible and force the issue, but especially if you feel like your opponent knows, and he already showed you he knows how to handle it, then you're risking that the game doesn't really happen, that everything gets exchanged in the first tactical blows. So often you try to slow down a little to make sure clash will happen later.
Yeah, on the other hand, yeah, he's got that 2-minute time advantage, so a long game here, I think, certainly suits Serrano with White. If he can keep the time edge, get Cena down on time, then of course he can be much more likely to induce a blunder. Looks like this last move, c5, has caught Serrano off guard, and I feel like this is a weird one, right? Yeah.
c5 is a little odd, yeah. This is a known line of the semi-Slav. Don't ask me why it's called that. But in this position, they usually play either pawn to e5, pawn to a6, or pawn to b5, pawn to c5 directly. Maybe that is Cena's surprise, because he clearly knows what he's doing.
Now, Jan, the viewers want to know, why is it called the Semi-Slav?
I honestly don't know. There is this opening called the Slav, which is pawn to d4, pawn to d5, pawn to c4, pawn to c6. That, for some reason, is called the Slav. But there's also the Queen's Gambit, which is pawn to e6. And the semi-Slav is you do both. You play pawn to c6 and pawn to e6. So it's half a Slav, half a Queen's Gambit. And semi-Queen's Gambit was a bit long to spell out, so they called it the semi-Slav.
Semi-Slav is so much more fun to say. See, bishop to d6 here. So structure actually quite symmetrical, but White is clearly ahead in development. His rooks are already connected. I think one of his rooks definitely going to go to that c-file lineup against Black's queen.
Yeah, or you just take everything on e5, go f4, go for broke.
Seems like a typical play here. Yeah, f4, try to get e5 in. Maybe White gets a small advantage, and Serrano's already spending time, and he's already close to equalizing on the clock.
I think he stepped into Cena's prep yet again. Cena overhead very well prepared with the black pieces.
Yeah, a lot of trades come off, but bishop takes d6, trades a knight e8.
Look at Cena not hesitating for a second.
I gotta feel like this endgame isn't the most comfortable for Black to play.
Depends. You get the bishop out, like knight takes d6, b6, bishop b7, rook d8. White needs to make something happen quickly, no?
It's true. He doesn't find some edge here, and yeah, it feels like actually Black is just going to equalize. Yeah, this b6 move I kind of underestimated.
Knight e5 looks nice. I think he's preparing. Pawn to f3 after takes and bishop b7 to keep the bishop sort of passive. Can't be very much. Now Sarana has to win. Not a lot of pieces remaining. At least he's gotten Sina Movahead to think for the first time.
Yeah, clearly.
Takes, brings the bishop.
In the repertoire now, I'd expect f3 to restrict. Sure. There we go. But rook to d8, black can at least trade off a pair of rooks.
Yeah, I'm wondering, does he want that, or is he worried he can't get the d file anyway? Rook d8, rook d1. I don't know. I think I'm coming around to your point of view that this might be a little unpleasant.
Yeah, computer says black is fine, but yeah, neither of these players are going to be playing like an engine here, so practically speaking, maybe a little more comfortable for white.
I don't know what you do. Maybe you can go f6, kick that knight, but that leaves a weakness pawn next to it. Not that obvious, and kudos to Sarana, who quickly realized, okay, I've stepped into preparation, but that endgame doesn't look dead. I can try here.
Yeah.
Now computer as usual doesn't care at all. He exchanges a pair of rooks, goes pawn to f6, pawn to e5, says 0-0. But does look somewhat scary because your bishop is passive and white has this very nice open file.
We'll see. We haven't really seen Sina play, kind of calm endgame thus far. All of his games have eventually become tactical and wild, but here he's going to have to just play a calm positional game. Try to hold with the black pieces. If he makes a draw, he advances. So he just needs to make sure he doesn't lose this one.
16-year-old is trying to prolong his tournament life. Would be sort of a fun battle. Hans Niemann versus Sina Movahead. Both very expressive.
Very expressive, yeah. Very emotional players. Very sharp and tactical. Yeah, that'll be a wild battle.
So far. Sarana far from out of it. The knight goes to c4. The pawn on e6 is under attack. Guess you don't go passive. I guess you put a rook on the c file first. Hit that horsey. Yeah, there he goes.
Rook to c8. Now black is looking to activate on that c file. Maybe knight back to e3. Keep everything covered. Yep.
Covering the entry square. So the rook can't get to the second rank. Still looks very compact. And black, not only does he have to watch out about that e6 pawn, but also about the second rank in his camp. And he's saying, you know what, you can have that pawn as long as I can activate.
Yeah, Serrano wants none of that. He wants to keep his rook active. Pair of pieces get traded off. Now bishop to c8.
Sina sitting up in his chair, surprised by this bishop c8 regrouping, but it's quite economical in a way, because the bishop is covering the weak pawn and it's covering the entry square for the rook. He's saying, you can go to d8, give a check, I don't care. I don't want you on the 7th rank. So I like this reorganizing by him.
Yeah. Yeah, gotta think Serrano here still gotta be cool with his chances. He got this endgame, got some imbalance. Knight versus bishop. His king is a bit closer, but black's rook is very active. And soon that rook is gonna jump around.
Yeah, Sina's played this nicely. b5? What's that about?
Guess just stopping the knight from coming to c4. But now h4, opening up a second front.
It's one of these strong grandmaster moves I never understand. Like, there's stuff happening everywhere, but somehow they find time to grab some space on the king side, and normally it's a good decision, but it's very deep.
Yeah, high-class move, straight out of endgame strategy. Now advances h5, just restricting that enemy king.
And he's creating some future weaknesses there. The g-pawn, for example, since he put his pawn there, it's easier to target it. Still, the black defense is very much holding here. And let's not forget, Sina only needs a draw to advance. So Serrano with the white pieces has to make something happen.
Yeah, I think he repeated once, just following that classic maxim, always repeat. Any school children are taught growing up. But now, of course, he has to play on.
I don't believe in that maxim at all. Because in chess, if you repeat thrice, it's a draw. So many old textbooks like this endgame strategy you mentioned are teaching you should repeat twice to mess with your opponent's head. Then he doesn't know, do you want to draw, do you not? But what happens normally is you spend a minute trying to decide, do I repeat? Do I repeat twice? And then very often you miscount and you repeat thrice by accident, or you reach that same position. So I'm strongly against it. Never repeat if you're the stronger side. Old textbooks. You led me astray.
Yeah, sometimes it can lead to more damage than it's really worth. So king to e7. Now he
Rook
pulls back.
retreats. That's a bit sad, but he has to keep the game going. He can't make a draw, then he's out. But now he has nothing. The king covers all the entry squares.
Yeah, bishop d7 looks good. Next is maybe b4, maybe a4.
Black is
maybe just nothing.
Very, very comfortable.
White's the one that has to show how he's going to win here.
Might just not win.
He's got to push g4, perhaps. Start advancing further on that king side, looking to make something
but
happen.
Just sit, just h6, and where's the breakthrough?
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm not sure Serrano does either. He's looking for some way to improve. Maybe rook to d1, but if you trade rooks, black's got to be fine.
For black, yeah. The black king comes. No, white is just not better. It might be balanced. He goes h6, at least trying to create some trouble over there. Maybe there was a good practical chance. Now if the pawn goes to h5, the attack pawn, then you can maybe take the other one on. Knight takes f6 and hope that rook endgame gives you something.
Cena there going full Beth Harmon. Taking the hand off the mouse, calculating up in the air. He's looking everywhere except the board.
Do you think Cena's watched the Queen's Gambit?
It's a little bit before his time. Yeah, he's only 16 at this point.
I don't know. It was big during the pandemic, and many of this generation, they had time during the pandemic, studied, and became incredibly strong players. So maybe he found a little time to get in.
Okay, goes for that rook endgame.
Here we go. This rook endgame, Serrano evaluated as his best chance to at least get some imbalance. But for now, he's a pawn down, and it feels like white should not win this, really.
Yeah, I would think like black is the one with maybe some chances. He got this b pawn he can latch onto. Rook b2 now, rook a3.
I still like the decision because everything else playing passively for white, there was zero chance. While here, it could at least become a race, which I agree, he shouldn't win, but at least something could happen. While everywhere else, it looked like black was just completely fine.
Now there's a nuance. If you go after this b pawn, white can take on h5, and then the a pawn will also hang, so you don't get your two pawns on the queen side. But there's king to e5. Very bold decision. Just advancing the king. Cena now looks like he's just going all out for the win, but objectively, this might have just been a great find.
It shows great chess instincts, chess culture, giving a pawn with check, activating his king, going after the b pawn, as where everybody's taught in rook endgames activity matters more than pawns, but to actually live it and not try to hang on to your pawns, well, you know what? Take it with check, get a passer. I'll go after your stuff. I'm impressed.
Yeah, easier said than done, especially given that he only needs a draw. He's not thinking about that. He's just wanting to play best moves on the board, and sometimes that's the only way forward.
Yeah.
Now, how does Serrano make progress?
I don't know, it feels like it should be a race, but it's not even so easy for white to mobilize. If your king moves forward, then the g2 pawn could get taken, which you don't want because you're losing your winning potential. Into h3 is a bit of a sad move, stepping away from the center.
And Serrano here needs to come up with some rook endgame magic, because black is a very simple plan. King c3, king takes b3, just promote one of his queenside pawns, and
best chance might be to go pawn to f4.
On f4.
Very strange move, but the point is if the king then takes the pawn on e4, then you have rook e5 check, you take on e6, and at least it becomes a race again with the passed f pawn. If not, you can keep running with the f pawn.
I like f4. I don't see another really sharp try here. Serrano clearly calculating, spent over 30 seconds.
There he goes.
There he does, finds it.
Gives the central pawn, but his pawn is then rook e5 check. Creates his own passer. Yeah. At least you get a race, but Cena, not hesitating much, seems to still know what he's doing here. I'd be so nervous trying to count f5, b3, and so on, but looks like Cena overhead has everything under control.
a3, both sides getting two passed pawns here. As he takes this one to check, white's going to advance now. I think king f4, maybe king h4, trying to get out of the way.
I think it makes a big difference. Yeah, he goes king h4, probably rook b1, or do we have time? Do we now have time for a4? If g4...
But white's f pawn is faster. f6, f7.
Ah, yeah. Okay, we have to stop it eventually.
I think rook to b1. I think black has to kind of blink first, get his rook behind the pawn, but then collectively his 2 pawns are further advanced. So yeah, objectively black is not worse here at all. But I think someone's winning this game, Jan. I feel like draw is the least likely result at this point.
No, what I like about it from white's point of view is you have a chance. You might be lost, but someone was gonna queen. While the other stuff, nothing was gonna happen.
Yeah, at least you have a chance. Draw is not suitable here for white at all. Here's f6. Okay, rook behind past pawn. No, he just advances. He's still got time.
Sarana's shaking his head. I think these guys already understand. This race will not end well for white.
Seems like black ultimately is leading here, but we never know. And now black's winning.
King g5 blocking his g-pawn. The rook takes care of the f-pawn, and then these 2 passers. The problem is if you attack the a-pawn, then the b-pawn goes, and if you attack the b-pawn, then the a-pawn goes. Can't catch them all.
I think this is all over, and look at Sarana. He kind of sensed it.
Sina's already sort of celebrating. We see the Sina pre-win festivities like we've seen earlier against.
Yeah, he's calculating it out. This check, it's not going to help. The best he can hope for is a perpetual, but at this point, black is winning the game on the board.
Doesn't need to. He can do the gentleman sweep, repeat moves.
And I think Sarana is giving up.
Yeah,
that's it.
He's done it. Congratulations to the 16-year-old prolonging his tournament life. Our youngest participant earned a battle against Hans Niemann, and Alexei Sarana, former European champion, is out of the tournament.
Fantastic display there from Sina. He won that first game, lost in round 2, but he comes back to win the Armageddon. What a fantastic endgame he just played there. Of course, all he needed was a draw, but he was basically winning that game with the black pieces.
Yeah, impressive stuff. Back to Anna.
Speechless. This has been an incredible fight. 16-year-old Sina move ahead for Team Stallions, ladies and gentlemen, is eliminating a Grandmaster 10 years older than him, way more experienced than him, but it is Sina move ahead with his confidence, with his energy. It just felt like he knew it from the start. Could you describe, Jan, what we have witnessed throughout these 3 games, and how impressed are you with Sina move ahead?
Well, I thought he was an underdog. I was wrong as usual, because Alexei Sarana is not anybody. He's a former European champion. He won the first big esports tournament we had in 2023. He's very respected also in the fast play community and the title Tuesdays and so on. But Sina, it's hard to grasp how good he already is by what I've seen. He's incredibly well prepared. He's a very, very fast calculator. He's emotional, but he's cool under pressure. He reacts very quickly, even to surprises. Saran tried to get him in the first game, and he just defended nicely, then took his chances. Then maybe pushed it a little too hard in the second game. He's not like a seasoned, cynical pro, let's make a draw with the white pieces. He wants to win every game. But the Armageddon, he was so impressive. His speed of calculation. Now, I think it's always a safe bet to say, this 16-year-old, he looks good to me. We'll hear more from him. But in this case, this guy's going to be very nasty.
And let's hear it from our young hero of the moment, definitely the hero of this match, 16-year-old Sina move ahead, heading over to you, Zach.
Thank you, Anna. Sina, congratulations on your win. What an exciting match. What can you tell me about it?
Thank you. It was a great match. It was quite nervy, but at the end, I hold it very confidently in the Armageddon.
You seem to have always these exciting games stemming from really sharp openings. Is that your style? Is that where you thrive in a competition like this?
I would like to get more solid positions, but somehow I can't. I would like to get decent, good positional chess, but I usually go for lines which require a lot of calculation, and somehow the game becomes really unclear.
And tell me about that first game, the Marshall Gambit, a super, super sharp try, and suddenly you just had a winning position with a white king on a3. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, it was, I couldn't understand the position, but I was just trying to make moves. In the opening, I was surprised, and I went like 3 minutes down, and it was really tough to bounce back. Yeah.
Sarana had this kind of comeback win in that second one, surprising you. What was your identity coming into that third one. Were you like kind of deterred from his win?
Yeah, I think in the opening, in the second game, I was pretty confident. I prepared this line, and I knew that the way he's playing is a bit dubious. I knew that I have advantage, but I couldn't prove it, and somehow I lose control, and then it was really heartbreaking. But in the third round, in the third game, which was the Armageddon, the thing is that he got into my prep in Meran, which Black is extremely solid in this line, and I could hold some of the slight pressure that he had.
And your next match will be against none other than Hans Niemann. Are you looking forward to that one?
Yeah, of course. It would be a nice fight.
You're about to have your first key crushing. Are you excited for that too?
I hope that they remove this, because I don't like to crush anyone's key.
Too nice, too nice. Thank you so much. And we'll send it back to the booth. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zach, and huge congratulations to 16-year-old Sina move ahead, who moves ahead to the next match against Hans Niemann that will be taking place today, ladies and gentlemen, in just a little while. But before those matches will take place, there will be keys getting crushed, and that is our Crunchyroll story of the day. That today, a lot of these dreams and hopes, unfortunately, they end here in our arena. 5 days is the main event here in chess at the Esports World Cup. Today, on day 3, 8 players are getting eliminated and their dreams and keys getting crushed. Kostya, how would you describe the experience, this knockout format that everything is on the line and the keys, unfortunately, will not stay intact?
I feel like actually it's a lot of pressure on the players. It's not easy to play on the biggest stage of your career. Thousands of people watching online, tons of people watching here in person. You know that if you make a blunder, a mouse slip, everyone is going to see it. I love that from Sina, by the way. Such a nice kid. He doesn't want to crush anyone's key, but on the board, he's such a killer. I think he's going to be such a tough opponent for Hans coming up.
He's gonna be a really tough opponent. And the key crushing to us chess players, this is a new thing. It's so much part of the Esports World Cup. We are just inheriting this culture and also learning how important it is to hold on to your key. Last year, the only player that had his key intact and safe and protected was Magnus Carlsen. Will he manage to do it this year too is another question. Jan, what do you think of today as we are heading into today? Started the day with 16 players overall, but 8 of them are getting eliminated.
It's heartbreaking. We're not used to it in chess, I guess. In tennis or other elimination formats more common. But normally in chess you play till the end, and here to be sent home from beautiful Paris. Like Benjamin Bock, he traveled all the way to India to qualify, and now he has to take a train from Paris to Amsterdam. That's gotta be disappointing.
That is gotta be disappointing. A lot of dreams are getting crushed here, but a lot of dreams continue. And that is the story of Sina Move Ahead as well. 16 years old, ladies and gentlemen, our youngest participant. And this is how he got here. Let's take a look at the bracket and how these matches have come so far in our Group A. Let's start with that. The opening matches you see in the top left corner, and the players that made it through from those yesterday. We saw Alireza Firuza for Team Falcons advancing to the playoffs. Nodirbek Abdusator for Team Navi also made it through yesterday. But we are today focusing on the elimination matches. And oh boy, Kostya, when you look at this, what we have been covering so far and the decider matches that are coming up, everything is on the line in those matches.
Yeah, these matches are going to be so interesting, so compelling. Not a bad matchup here. First, you have Arjun Erigaisi against his countryman Pranesh, who we saw earlier today defeat Benjamin Bock. Very, very impressive play from them. We're also going to see Duda there going up against Nihal Sarin. Here we see Group B of the bracket, where Hans Niemann and Denis Lazovic now are going to be playing their deciding matches. Hans, of course, facing Sina Move Ahead, and Denis Lazovic playing against Jan Nepomniachtchi. Incredible matchup there. Only one will be advancing to the playoffs, and the other one going home.
That is the story, the decider matches, Jan. When you look at those upcoming matches, both in Group A and Group B, the decider matches, 4 matches in total, 4 players will advance to the playoffs, where Magnus Carlsen is already waiting, Hikaru Nakamura is already waiting, Ali Reza is waiting, and Nodirbek Abdusattorov is also through. But 4 more players will join the playoffs, and 4 will be eliminated in the decider matches. What is your call on those 4 matches?
Very hard to say. I'm really looking forward to Niemann against Movahead, because Hans, of course, one of the most known chess players in the world, but I feel like we might be witnessing an origin story here. Let's hope it's a hero origin story, not a villain. Sina Movahead looks so strong at 16. Jan Nepomniachtchi is still in the running after he lost to Hans. Made a comeback against Yesipenko. Against Denis Lazovic, there's also found the established over-the-board star against another online newcomer. And I think we have no weak players.
No weak players. These are the top chess players, ladies and gentlemen, in the world. The fastest, the strongest. This is a speed chess format for all the marbles. $1.5 million is at stake. And if you make it to the playoffs, that's a huge chunk of that prize money and very precious club championship points. For AGAL, the leading club at the moment, Denis Lazovic is their biggest hope to score here in the chess event. While for the defending champions, the Falcons, they need both Hikaru and Ali Reza to win the tournament, well, one of them to take the trophy and get 1,000 points for the Falcons. Of course, Magnus Carlsen will try to score another 1,000 points, as last year he did for Team Liquid. So far, for Team Liquid, it's a disappointing EWC, but I think all their hopes are on these final 2 weeks and Magnus being one of their top scorers. And Nodirbek Abdusattorov, his team right now is in 3rd place, chasing the Falcons, chasing AGAL, and if Nodirbek does well in the playoffs, anything can happen. With only 2 weeks to go and millions of dollars on the line in the club championship, $1.5 million in chess. This is just high pressure, high stakes, and every single day is a great day for us to spectate. I feel like when it comes to what Sina said about the key crushing, he was really happy about winning, very confident about his play, but he doesn't want to crush his opponent's key, and he'll have to. He'll have to. He's just getting ready to do that, and we will witness that historic moment. So once we are ready to show you how that is being played out here, we will head over to the key crusher. But until then, let's take another moment to recall what we have witnessed so far overall in our 2 matches, and how do we think our 2 heroes from our arena will fare overall. Kostya.
Well, right now, first off, we have Pranesh, who defeated Benjamin Block. He's going up against Arjun Erigaisi, who he's probably known for many years now. They both come from India. Arjun has been in the world's elite for the last several years. Pranesh still trying to break through. So for him, I think it's going to be actually very tough to go up against someone that he probably considers a stronger player, probably looks up to Arjun. So that's going to be very, very difficult for him. Maybe a similar story for Sina. I mean, he's been watching Hans play for the last several years, reach the elite status, maintain his status up there. But at 16, I feel like he doesn't have time to be nervous. He only knows one speed, and that is to attack. We saw in that second game, Sina just needed a draw, but he stuck to his preparation. He plays one of the sharpest openings in chess, and he ended up losing that game, but we can see how he plays, right? He's always playing aggressively. But of course, Hans is a very experienced player, is I think a bit more universal than Sina. He can play in all kinds of different styles. Ultimately going to be a very difficult uphill battle for both of our underdogs.
Uphill battle, underdogs, but less pressure on their shoulders. And what I witnessed, by the way, and I was going to tell you guys, you were so focused on the games you couldn't turn around and see, but in the audience, in the first row, we had Grandmaster Parham Maksudlu. He's already not here, Jan, don't worry. Sorry, it's too late. But he was sitting in the first row, rooting for his countrymen, Sina Movahead. And this, you just love to see it. Maksudlu was here in our tournament. He qualified through the last chance qualifier, postponing his surgery. Like, that's how far he went into wanting the qualification, getting in. He was in the play-in. He almost made it through. He narrowly missed out on being in the group stage. But now that he's out of the tournament, he's still here with us in Paris, supporting his countryman, 16-year-old Sina Move Ahead. What are your thoughts on that, Jan? And just in general, this feeling in chess that, of course, we all need supporters. We need our coaches, our trainers, friends to help us during events like this.
I think it's irresponsible. I'm not a medical doctor, but Parham, get some rest, get to a hotel bed, go to a hospital if you need to. You have no business being here. You can congratulate Sina on his tournament later. Get some rest, Parham. All the best.
So very caring words from Jan. Of course, we want a very speedy recovery for Parham, who had surgery just before the play-ins and is still recovering from that. But he loves chess. He wants to be here. He wishes he would be the one playing, but if he cannot, he did not make it through to the group stage, then he's rooting, of course, for his countrymen, Sina Move Ahead. And for us to be here, right next to Rainbow Six Siege, we are lucky today that they have not started the competition there yet, because oh boy, it does get loud. No, I'm just kidding. I love it. I'm living off of this environment. I don't know how about you guys, but I feel like every day, yes, it's loud. Yes, the crowds are cheering, but it just makes everything even more exciting. What is your thought on that, Kostya? For us chess players, silence is what we are usually used to in a playing hall, and this is a very different stage.
No, exactly right, Anna. I think it's actually very cool that chess can actually be an exciting game. We all grew up watching chess as if it was golf. You gotta be quiet, hush hush, respectable, gentleman, right? And I think that is very much chess's nature. But at the same time, it's so cool to actually have a live audience for chess, an audience that can cheer for the players.
Guys, keep it down. We're talking.
I can't believe you said they haven't even started yet. They're so loud over there on that stage. No, but I've been going around the venue, checking out some of the other games, Rainbow Six, Rocket League, and these fans are tremendous. They've got their own cheers. They're pumped up for their teams. That's another thing that's new for chess. Normally, you're just playing for yourself. Now you're representing your team. You got a lot on the line, and I think a lot of these players really relish in this additional, I wouldn't call it pressure. I would say it's a bit of a mix, a support and the pressure, right? You got all these people around you, and actually I think it's very cool to see chess in such a different environment.
It's a very different environment, and I agree with you that it's really cool at the same time. We already mentioned earlier, Jan, and you interviewed Pranesh about this. He's representing Seoul Esports, and his team is not doing that well yet in the club championship.
0 points, Seoul.
I was
That's
trying to
the
be
definition
polite here.
of not doing that well.
Don't call me out like that. I was trying to be polite, but they are doing well today in chess because both Pranesh and Nihal Sarin, representing Seoul Esports, have moved on to the decider matches. What do you think it's like for them when it's chess, their main game? This is where they can actually score big time.
It's about time, and especially Nihal, I think they have high hopes for. He's well known as a rapid blitz specialist, and him making the quarterfinals would not be a surprise. But if Pranesh can join him, of course, it's an uphill battle against Arjun, but not hopeless. Pranesh, one of the fast improving players of the year. So I hope Seoul has some other games where they can score. But in chess, I like their chances of at least getting one through to the quarterfinals.
Looking good, their chances for Seoul Esports, and when it comes to all the clubs, of course, we cannot emphasize how important and how crucial these points are for the overall club championship. It's a very tight race. Team Falcons have won it twice, the Esports World Cup. They're trying to go for their third title this year, but there's a team that's standing in their way right now, and that's AGAL. Denis Lazovic represents AGAL. He'll try this afternoon to qualify to the playoffs. We have two Falcons already in the playoffs. That's Hikaru Nakamura and last year's runner-up Alireza Firouzja. And Team Navi at the moment in third place, Nodirbek Abdusatorov, is in the playoffs and has been performing really well here in Paris. So looking good for those three teams at the moment. But again, the race is so tight. The battle for those points. The top 8 places in chess are rewarded with club championship points. So if you make it to the playoffs, that's already points for your team. The higher you score, of course, the better you do in the playoffs, the higher the amount of the points. And 1,000 points is what you get if you win it, like Magnus Carlsen did last year for Team Liquid. And speaking of Team Liquid, disappointing year so far, disappointing EWC at the moment for them, but with 2 weeks to go, Kostya, if Magnus does it again, and he's very motivated, do you think that will give Team Liquid that boost that they need for the race for the title?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it's 1,000 points for the first place winner in this tournament. And if there's one thing Magnus Carlsen is good at, apart from chess, it's winning events. The guy is just a born winner. He won last year. He wants to win this year. So far, he's been feeling a little bit under the weather. He hasn't shown his best chess, but he hasn't dropped a game yet. He won both of his matches in regulation, no Armageddons. So far, he's showing some of his best chess, and I think right now he's a clear favorite going into the playoffs. So Team Liquid can definitely count on him to score a lot of points.
I agree with you. And Jan, when it comes to Magnus and being a showman, how would you describe the #1 player in the world in chess and how much he enjoys an atmosphere like this?
No, especially Magnus, I was surprised because he won last year, and I've hardly ever seen him that happy. Like, he's won 5 World Championship matches, the highest title in chess, but him enjoying this atmosphere, the key crushing, and I've really never seen him as relieved and as much enjoying himself as when he won that one. He feels chess belongs here, chess shouldn't be relegated to, you know, small remote venues, so he really likes it, and he will be super motivated.
He does like it a lot, and he will want to crush his opponent's keys, but right now it is Pranesh who will crush Grandmaster Benjamin Bok's key. This was our first match today on Stream B, and a very happy Pranesh to place the key of his opponent in the crusher. I wish we had the sound from the crusher to Kostya, because apparently it's... thank you for doing the voice acting for the crusher as well. How would you describe these moments and what it is like for Pranesh? It's his first ever key crushing.
Look at that. 2 thumbs up. I think he's a bit happy there. A little too happy to crush Benjamin Bok's key. Very curious how this key crushing ceremony for Sina move ahead is going to go. Maybe Magnus can just step in. He seems to just really love the key crushing ceremony. Maybe he'll crush Sarana's key. Yeah?
He doesn't have to actually do anything, right? You just stand there?
Yeah, I think you just stand there. Yeah. I mean, you just kind of stand there. You got to let it happen, though. You got to let it happen. But yeah, we'll see how he handles his first key crush. First of many, by the way. Again, such an impressive 16-year-old. Like, maybe he doesn't win this match against Hans coming up, but we're going to see him back here, I think, for many years to come.
And maybe he's not going to win it, or maybe he will. But what we do know right now is that he is ready for his first ever key crushing. He has just eliminated his opponent in a very back-to-back fight in an Armageddon against Alexei Serrano, representing Fnatic. This is Sina move ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Remember this name. He's only 16 years old. He's our youngest participant, and he is still in the race for a huge chunk of that $1.5 million prize pool. His opponent in the next match is Hans Niemann. That will happen today in just a little while. So as for us on Stream B, our stage, our heroes, they are gone for the day, but we will be back tomorrow. And you're not going anywhere, because Stream A is going strong. Stream A is where all the rest of the decider matches will happen today. Thank you so much, Kostya. Thank you, Jan. And thank you, Zach, somewhere backstage having a snack already or lunch. He did a great job on stage, didn't he?
Absolutely.
Wasted a bit of time, if you ask me. Keep it tight, Zach.
He did all right. He did all right. And we want to thank all of you tuning in here. Whether you were here live in the audience with us as Grandmaster Parham Maksudlu, or if you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, or any of the websites where it's embedded, we are everywhere. And I hope that you had a fantastic time watching the games, the matches, and all these battles for high stakes. As mentioned, the day continues on Stream A. Make sure to head over to Stream A right now. And we'll be back tomorrow here on Stream B as well for the playoffs. Thank you so much for watching us, and see you tomorrow for day 4 of the EWC in chess from Paris.
tu m'entends quand je respire. Top le veston, jamais fait une trop pas. Big plan, j'ai fait changer toute la piste. Regarde ma pêche, je pas j'attire. Je coupe la line, laisse la qui laisse frémir. Nouvelle état, new name, toujours fluide dans le move. Main en l'air quand je rentre dans le groove. Garde ce regard, je suis déjà posé. Deux pas je tourne, glace dans mes yeux figés. Beat encore, puis je prends tout ce qui est à moi. Trop vif, trop fort.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by play.
We were there. For every click, every clutch, every respawn. We were there for the years of grind. And we're here. Now. The proud founding partner of EWC. Powering the biggest event in gaming. Shoulder to shoulder with the world's best. Making history. Greatness deserves a stage. Lenovo Legion. Reach your impossible.
The human body was built to move, not trapped at a desk in one singular posture for 12 hours a day. It's time your chair evolved. This is Secret Lab Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you, gamers, hybrid workers, artists, backing your every move.